All right, we are live after several technical issues came up. I eventually did, I don't know if I figured it out. I'm not going to go that far. But what I will say is that it's working. You know, mysterious are the ways of the machine. But the important thing is that we are now officially live. I am your host, Get Good Fox, the most skibidi mercenary commander this side of the inner sphere. And joining me is Dr. Sheriff Crab. How is it going, good sir?
It's going very good. Slightly frustrating start with the connection issues, but we're glad they've got to the bottom of that.
Yeah, that took almost basically 30 minutes. And we started trying to connect 5 minutes before the stream, and now it's 4:24 over here. So it basically took us 30 minutes to sort out the connection issue. It's just something that just is very, very stubborn. Like it's just... Exactly that. It's just very, very stubborn. Like no matter you try over and over and over and over again, and it just like it's giving me more trouble than pretty much any other game I've played, and I don't have problems connecting in these other games, so I really don't know what the issue is. Anyway, let's see what's going on down in Chatville. Armor Core 6 says, let's go. Eventually. We'll eventually go, indeed. Freddy 4x4 says, greetings, Commander Fox and Dr. Sheriff Crab reporting for all your transportation needs. Well, welcome, Freddy 4x4. Macronox says, hello, hope you're having a good day. We are going to have a better day now that we can actually, connect. Happy Teddy Bear says, greetings, clanner scum. Well, we're not clanners anymore. We're, I guess we're Wolf Dragoons, so we're still scum. Dara says, good afternoon, Sheriff, and Honorable Dragon Mech Warriors. I mean, right now, I guess we're, like, in the Wolf Dragoon, so we might as well be scum. Armor Core Rock says, I feel like clans is so easy because all you need to do is focus on what is in front of you. In Mercs, enemies can attack you from all angles. Yeah, they pretty much do attack you from all... I mean, in Mercs, because it's procedurally generated, I don't know, they just do whatever they want. Like, they can, like... The worst one is always an assassination. You go to the assassination, and the assassination is a full lance, so it's 4 mechs, but then he also has a bonus lance just helping him out, which might be a partial, a demi lance, so it might be another 3 to 4 people. So you're already fighting like 7 to 8 mechs, and then you kill like one of the assassination targets, which triggers reinforcements to appear on your flank, which drops off another full lance of mechs. So you wind up fighting basically like 11 to 12 mechs, all at once, not including any of the damage you took beforehand, with no repair bays in between. So it's
it's a real piece of work.
Yeah, it can be way more insane. Like, there's only a handful of missions in clans where the enemies, like, aggressively attack from different directions. Anyways, this is the stream. We'll go and show everybody the stream. This is the stream where we are going to beat the game. And then we will give our casual review. Like, we'll give you our final thoughts. I'm going to call it a casual review because I haven't really sat down to come up with, like, a lot of, like, in-depth metrics or anything. So it's going to basically be, like, maybe not, like, a first thoughts, but, like, a more thoughtful first thoughts. Like, first thoughts after beating the game. Maybe after we play it again on the higher difficulty, like, we will give another review. But, we have thought about it. We have discussed it a bit, and that is going to be the plan. But first, let's go ahead and beat the game. Okay, so there should only be a handful of missions left. I think there's 1 or 2 missions left. So we've got a world on fire, dispatcher Mackenzie Wolf, target clan Smoke Jaguar. Oh, we're fighting the Jaguars finally. Jaden, Smoke Jaguar managed to break through the DCMS lines and have their sights set on the primary base of the First Sword of Light on the doorsteps of the Imperial City. Research the base and defend it at all costs. You are about to face your former allies. Here on Luthien is where your past, present, and future collide. Ensure you are ready before you deploy, because the battle will be unlike any other test you have faced. That kind of makes it sound like it'll be the final mission, but, we'll see.
Listen up. I am happy to report we are holding the Nova Cats in check. They are bogged down in the Kataguchi Valley as we speak, but it continues to extract a heavy price as our Dragoon brothers and Calhounds continue to hold the line. Now for the gravest news. Smoke Jaguar forces did manage to break through the DCMS lines and have their sights set on the primary base of the First Sword of Light on the doorsteps of the Imperial City. Thanks to the First Sword, we were able to fend off the Nova Cats and retrieve some of the Kellhounds, so we want to return the favor and prevent the clanners from taking possession of their facility. Currently, they have just a small garrison force stationed there to defend it, but they have no shot at holding out against the storm that is about to hit them.
So, you are pulling us from the front line?
You must reach the base and defend it at all costs. You will face an assault from your former allies from all sides, Jaden. Is your star prepared to fight them as you would any other enemy?
Yes. We have committed to defend the capital of the Draconis Combine against any enemy that threatens her. We are ready to do our part.
Then load up. No need for a scouting report. You already know what you're up against.
He said yes instead of af, I noticed.
I noticed that.
Okay, Macronox says if the salt monster is going to reappear, he has little time left for it. Like, no. Blood has already taken his final L. There's no way he's coming back. Macronox says MS Paint ass logo projected. Like, okay, yeah, like the clan logos, some of them are cooler than others. Like Clan Wolf is okay, Clan Jade Falcon is okay. I think the Nova Cats are super lame looking. I know that's not gonna look. I'm not trying to earn points. I'm not trying to like win allies by kissing people's asses. If I think something is super fucking lame, then it's just super fucking lame. And I think the Smoke Jaguar logo just sucks ass, and I think the Nova Cat logo just sucks ass. I mean, like,
Even worse.
It is what it is. I'm not. Look, I love and respect BattleTech, but that does not prevent me from just. If I think something looks stupid, then I'm just gonna say it looks stupid. Okay, so I did recustomize my own Dire Wolf and the Sheriff's Dire Wolf. Neither of us have test piloted it, but I did make a sensible build. It's still a pretty crazy build, but I think it'll be sensible. We are piloting mirrors, and I decided to bring some other mechs in to let the other Dire Wolves repair. This Dire Wolf is packing 8 ER large lasers and 7 ER small lasers, and what makes it a plausible design is the 14 additional double heat sinks that I have installed on it. Some people told me to go for like the 12 pulse laser build or the 12 ER medium laser build, but here's what I think. I don't think like 14, 15 ER medium lasers, that's not much different than the Nova. Like, I think, you know, what, you double the size of the Nova and you get like only a handful more lasers. So I wasn't really blown away by the idea of using like, you know, 12, 14, 15 ER medium lasers. However, I'm like, what about 8 ER large lasers for all range combat, and then up close we have the small lasers? You know, I think that could be quite good, especially since the large lasers are just as good up close as they are far away. And that actually feels. Now, that looks and feels like a 100-ton mech, so, you know, we will have to try it out. Well, what do you think, Dr. Sheriff Crab? Do you think that this is going to work, or do you... Because I don't know. I haven't test piloted it out. Do you think this is going to work, or do you think we are going to, like, literally get cooked? We will literally be lit in the cockpit.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of lasers, but it's also a lot of heat sinks. So
it is.
I mean, it's gonna punch pretty hard. If they can control the heat, I think it's gonna be really good. I like the idea of the range it's got as well. So no, I'm very confident this will be good. I'll be surprised if it's not.
Well, I'm hitting the button and we're gonna find out. We are under tonnage, but you know, oh well.
We have to give them a chance.
Yeah. We'll see if they accept our bachal.
The First Sword of Light's base is in the western sector. Just set your route on your tactical maps. No reds detected so far. Get moving before the Jaguars arrive and overrun it.
Do you think Mia's out there somewhere?
Not sure. The briefing never said what Jaguar cluster managed to break through.
It will not matter. All of them, the Jaguars, will be dying to claw out a piece of our flesh.
It is still strange to talk about the Jaguars like that.
It'll take time to get used to, just as long as you know that they are the enemy.
Yeah, I mean, since I'm piloting the mech, I just do not care. Okay, let me just fire it real fast.
That is hot.
Now, you do have a chain fire mode as well, but it does sink its heat pretty quick.
It does, actually.
It's a lot of lasers. Now, the small lasers shouldn't even be a thing. So, you easily cool down within that time.
Reading a lone enemy unit on scope.
Yeah.
Solo wanderer, most likely a scout.
Sticking his nose where it doesn't belong.
Oh, man,
Take him
here
out,
we go.
dragoons, and keep the cats blind to our movements.
Oh,
Wow. Okay, maybe the
That
heat doesn't
scout
matter.
won't be delivering any status updates now.
Unless taking him out was a status update they were looking for. Might be monitoring whether he returns at all.
Just shut up.
Wonder how he escaped detection.
There is a lot of rock cover in the area.
Keep moving, Copper. Taisho Rentoshi's last sit rep confirms the Jags still haven't reached their base, but it's only a matter of time.
The Jaguars will be even more unhinged facing off against defectors on the battlefield.
And they will reaffirm we made the right choice to abandon their cause and salvage our dignity. We must stop them.
I have
If
great
Luthian
doubts
and the
about
Combine falls, nothing will obstruct the Klana's path to Terra.
The big Max to help us.
We will not let them win, Luthian. We have to show them we are strong, even outside of the Jaguar ranks.
that. Yeah, Battlemaster, a Marauder 2, and an Atlas, a D model, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not the best.
So it's unless they
Taisho
really
Rentoshi.
rush in here, they're not gonna get a lot of
Thank you for
opportunities to do
coming.
damage.
Still no sign of any Jaguars?
They are coming. They will never pass up a chance to attack their prey.
Short range is picking up movement. We've got Jags closing in. You all ready for this, Copper?
Okay,
There's
so there's
nowhere to
specific
hide.
buildings we have to
So
protect.
we have to be.
An optional objective to protect the
Do not
power
give up that
generators,
base
so
to
I
the
guess watch
Jaguars.
your step.
Whatever
Yeah, they're
it
coming
takes.
from the west.
Okay, unfortunately
what
the
kind of fight this
walls
is
are
going to
not
be.
making this.
We have fought beside these people. They will stop at nothing to purge
broke a
us
wall
for our
down.
defection.
I saw that
They will
red
wanna
damage you
rip
did
us
to them
limb
on
from
there, so
limb.
that's pretty nice.
Have you traitors come to commit Bonsref? Because you cannot hope to survive this battle.
I don't know, so far we're smoking them.
Where did they go?
Too bad we don't have active probe.
Oh.
Something is jamming us. Oh, right, there we go. They're on the right side.
Target destroyed. New target. Heat critical.
Almost got this Nova down.
Weapons online.
Nice shot!
Destroyed.
There's more.
Heat critical.
It is spicy, but let me tell you, the damage is good.
Online.
That reactor's going to blow!
Destroyed.
I mean, we were slicing through these guys, no problem.
Heat critical.
We got 2 or 3 mechs here, actually.
So I guess there's like a ditch or something, because every time they advance, they get like, they kind of dip downwards, I noticed.
And they come out of this wall over the north side.
Yeah, I wish we had a little more range. That's the main thing I want, is a bit more range, because we're not able to make great use of these ER large lasers without a bit more distance. I'm backing up the Battlemaster.
Heat critical.
Reactor going up! Give them mech some space!
Yeah, these lasers are just slicing through their armor. And like the small lasers are so
Target
cool and
destroyed.
convenient to use.
They are.
You can easily use them in between.
Target.
That was just the beginning. Additional contacts are approaching the eastern gate.
No sign of Mia.
We should worry about the other Jaguars trying to kill us, Ez. She may not show.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of wait. I'm gonna see if I can, because I want to get some hits in with my ER large lasers before they get that close. That's what I really would like.
There's things over here getting damaged. I think they're on the northeast side.
Northeast, shifting to northeast now.
Yep,
Yeah.
they are. They might come up this ramp or something, I'm not sure. That's an executioner.
New target.
I think the only way they can get into the base is through the ramps. That seems to be the way it works. We got a Warhawk on the right ramp.
Yeah.
Heat critical.
One less mech to worry about.
Target destroyed.
I alpha perked him, but I'm like well over cooked now.
That's fine.
I just step back.
I kind of like the option to like go crazy power on them if we need to, even if it puts us in the overheating.
Target
Super
destroyed.
Saiyan.
Like I alpha strike that guy into the next dimension.
Heat critical.
The
Target
8 ER large
destroyed.
lasers was enough to kill that guy on their
Weapons
own.
online. New target.
I know I'm supposed to protect their base, but like I don't care if I step on the small things.
That Battlemaster's like suicidal.
Rear
Yeah,
armor
Warhawk,
attack on the executioner.
No escape from them now.
New target. Heat critical.
Oh my
Target
god, the rear armor
destroyed.
attack on the Warhawk.
Weapons online.
So each of these large lasers does 12 damage, up from the typical 8 damage, up from the 10 damage in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. Large lasers should not do 10 damage though. Like that is a buff they made to the weapon.
New target.
It needed it.
I mean, right now I think we're doing really good.
They are relentless fiends.
Keep an eye on your ammo levels. We don't want to exhaust our supplies too early.
That's right. Keep an eye on your ammo
Copy
levels.
that. We do have a long fight ahead of us.
Destroyed.
More
pretty
Jaguars
cool.
incoming. Southeast gate. Ground and
Okay,
air
opposite side of the
elements.
base. Opposite side of the base.
I think we're starting to frustrate them.
Which means they will only get more desperate and ruthless.
Target.
Exactly. Hold
Oh,
strong
I need to
against
go
it.
past summoner as well.
If we give
Yeah,
them even an inch, we
The
will
small
not
lasers
survive
have
this
just enough
onslaught.
range to really sneak a hit in.
Protect the generators at all costs. Without them, any repair capabilities will be nullified, and we will not be
Yeah,
able
just
to hold
destroyed
the
one.
base.
I'm not sure what direction they can come from on this one. You'd think that they could board with their jump jets. Wait, they're in the base right now.
New target. Incoming missile. Target.
I am tracking more Jackwires in the vicinity. Keep repelling them.
They bid high for this. I do not think they are taking anything for granted.
There is much riding on taking this world. They cannot afford to lose face nor ground to the
Okay,
other
some of them
clans.
are in fact using their jump jets to board. That summoner, can you finish that summoner off? It jump jetted past me.
Destroyed.
It's gone.
Weapons online. Heat critical.
Good shooting. We might be able to hold them off after all.
They have a
That's
bad
what
habit
it
of
said.
underestimating their opponents. That can work in our favor.
Ezra, you will pay for turning your back on the clans. On Kerensky himself. The Smoke Jaguars do not tolerate defectors.
You're
The
doing
Smoke
it.
Jaguars turned their back on the teachings of the Father long ago. You all abandoned the true way of the clans.
Okay, I got a blip
North.
west.
You
Blip
dare
west.
lecture me in our
Oh, west,
ways,
you're right, yep.
traitor?
More Jaguars closing in. We will need every bit of ammo to survive this.
They are used to fighting inferiors in inferior machines. At least this is giving them their money's worth.
Yeah, they trained us. If anyone is built to withstand Jaguar warriors, it is us.
I mean, we're doing a good job of hosing them down. We did lose a Sword of Light mech. I see like one of their painted mechs on the ground. I am right behind you, so I'm body blocking it.
Target destroyed.
Vaporized them.
That Nova's ready to die.
Target destroyed.
Vaporized them. Have you gone like all lasers down at once, like
Yeah,
smalls and
Really
larges?
funny. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
New target. Target
More
destroyed.
on the north side.
Okay.
They go for that. It's actually both sides, in fact.
I feel like we're doing more damage to the base than they are, personally.
Yeah, as long as the turrets stay fine now. Oh, the turrets, the generators.
Okay, I detected there's 2 on their way from the northwestern direction.
New target.
One's dead on. Okay, we've got one on the base right now.
Target.
Unit dominated.
Okay, I'm gonna put them on that
On the Star
Nova
Commander's
that
target.
made it into the base. I'm still watching the other side. There's a Kit Fox coming in. Oh, they're jumping in. Well, he tried to jump in. He didn't make it.
Unit down.
New target.
Oh, shit. I'm taking a lot of damage.
Yes, you got the reactor.
I'm backing up a bit. Are they gonna turn those repair bays on by chance?
Scan loaded.
Mech destroyed.
Target destroyed.
Hope so.
Radar screens are clear. Short-range sensors quiet.
Disengage.
I just need like none of my weapons
Dragoons,
are damaged. I just
The
need some armor.
Jaguars still occupy our base's airfield. If you do not clear them out, clan reinforcements will come.
I'm
Roger,
capturing
Tysho.
some of these
We will
like
handle
bonus
them.
objectives. Like, do any of these activate the
The
repair
toll
bays?
of
Oh, thank
battle is
God.
unmistakable. Utilize the repair bay to get back into fighting condition
There's actually extra ones as
before
well.
we face more of these bastards.
There's going to be a few waves, I would imagine.
These guys are not messing
There's one there that
around.
hasn't been activated.
How do they know us?
Advance to
Are they from
Perez
the
and engage him. Oh, we're gonna
362nd?
fight Perez.
Unlikely. They wear Beta Galaxy's patch, but these IFF codes are from the first Jaguar cards. For all we know, the 362nd might have been bid away for this campaign.
How did they know about our defection then? I doubt that Sakan Weaver and Star Colonel Wimmer would want that knowledge to spread clan-wide. It would make them look weak
Systems
to rivals.
offline.
Star Colonel Perez. He would know.
We fled on Perez's watch. He would be the last one to want the knowledge of our defection to get out.
Maybe he has nothing left to lose.
All right, I'm armored up
He
again.
already bears the responsibility for Edo. What's a single star of defectors against that?
Good point.
Oh, we also have jump jets, by the way.
Yeah.
Just enough to hop something, I'm guessing. But like, I would have removed
Target.
them, but you know, obviously we can't do that.
There's a lot of enemies here, so careful.
Heat critical.
Yeah, we're beginning
Star
the attack
Commander's
right
target.
now.
Target destroyed. Target destroyed. Weapons online. Target destroyed.
I would be mad if I was Smoke
Target.
Jaguar. Like, they are just like losing mechs hand over fist right now.
Heat critical. Target destroyed.
Yeah, those small lasers are just enough to like finish mechs off.
I mean, they're dangerous enough in their own right, to be honest.
Target
One enemy mech down.
What about giving the Nova some of its own medicine? Like, oh, so
I
you
know,
like lasers, do you? Like, you pleasure in lasers, do you?
You've made this mech a lot faster as well, somehow.
Is it faster?
Yeah. That's not
Oh
too
yeah,
difficult.
62 kilometers.
Incoming missile. Target destroyed. Heat critical. New target. Incoming missile. Target destroyed.
Unit down.
You ungrateful little pissants.
Weapons
I
online.
gave you everything. And this is how you thank me. Fighting against your former kin.
No, just you, Butcher.
Butcher? Then what are you? You could have stood up and challenged me at any point, but you did not. You ran, like the Desgra cowards you are.
Power
At
point.
least D to Osis had the spine to step up and claim what was his, like a real clan warrior.
You are right, Cordera. I was unwilling to face you then, but I will now. I invoke the ritual of Zelbriggen and challenge you to a duel of warriors.
It will be my honor to bring vengeance down on a traitor like you. I accept. In this solemn matter, let no one interfere. We will keep his other forces occupied. Just focus on bringing him down.
I'm guessing he's in the
You
dire
think
wolf.
you pose a threat? You think me so easily felled? Then you are bigger fools than I ever imagined.
Online.
No!
Destroyed.
Desgra scum!
Good riddance.
It isn't over yet. His friends are still in the field. Let's mop them up.
I focus fired him down so bad.
Reactor breached. Nice shot.
New target.
I did burn up quite a bit doing it though, but now I've sank my heat and I'm ready for combat.
Incoming missile.
Definitely
Unit
replacing
down.
their death door.
The clanner star is down. The AO is clear.
Destroyed.
Not a moment too soon.
You all fought like true samurai warriors. The holding remains ours.
Yes. We must remember, though. Perez may have fallen, but the rest of the Smoke Jaguar is still out there. And they will not stop until Luthien is overrun, and their path to Terra is free of obstruction.
Believe me, that is not something any of us in the Inner Sphere are likely to forget. We will not know rest until we have stopped this invasion.
Yeah. And Mia will not rest until she has brought vengeance on us personally, Jaden.
And my vengeance is coming for you. You all have taken up arms against your own blood. There is no saving you now.
I am surprised you are not down here with Perez.
You never did get it, did you, Ez? I have no interest in helping him infect our clan any further. He was barely better than the feudal spheroid dictators, the ones you now fight to protect. That is why I will not stop until you have been put down too.
Mia, please. You must.
Save your cries for mercy for the battlefield. I call you to trial, traitor. If you have any shred of honor left in you, then come and face me in the Imperial Gardens. We will engage in honorable combat where I will give you the death all of you deserve.
We're family, Mia.
You defected. You are not my family. You are not even Smoke Jaguars anymore. But I am. And when you fall, you will understand what that name truly means.
This is what you want, Mia? Really? Truly?
Yes!
Then so be it. If this is where the path leads us, I accept your challenge. You will have your fight.
And in the name of Kerensky, I will cut you down and restore honor to my codex. Expect no mercy.
Okay, maybe there is one more mission. Maybe the last mission is like a 5-on-5.
Yeah, it's gonna be something.
Mackenzie says, did sticking it to Perez feel good? I know that your star had a history with him. I hope his defeat brings you some measure of peace. We need to discuss the challenge your former starmate issued you. Okay, well, here we go. And I guess we get to bring all of the dire wolves in this time.
Jaden,
Yeah.
it is almost time. Are you ready?
Mia believes in the Jaguar's mission. She would never have left the clan willingly. Somehow I knew the second I chose Ezra's path over hers that it would come to this. But today, I have the chance of righting that wrong. A chance to bring us all back together again.
You intend to take her as bondsman.
Mia's pride will never allow her to betray them. But besting her in combat and taking her as bondsman, this is the clan way, and one that preserves her honor.
She is a good fighter. Beating her will not be easy. Win or lose, there is no going back to the way things were. Even if you do claim her, would she ever forgive you?
The Smoke Jaguars are all she has ever known. Mia wants to believe that she can change them from within. But they are beyond fixing. She will understand this when we are together again.
Jaden, I know that this is what you want for her, but it is not what she wants for herself. Mia will not let you take her. At least not willingly. She will try to kill you.
I know. She told me one day I would have to decide what kind of future I was willing to fight for. Well, now I know. I will save her. No matter the cost.
You are as naive as ever, Jaden. But I will never tire of your optimism.
I hate how like Naomi feels like
Even
a
when it seems
robot.
impossible.
I know.
He's like, computing probability of
What are we waiting for?
success.
She always says all the like perfect things, doesn't she?
Simulating human interaction. Okay, here we go. This is the... So I'm guessing this is just a straight up mission type trial of grievance. So it's just going to be a 5-on-5. Kishi Kaisei, dispatcher Mackenzie Wolf, target 362nd assault cluster. Your star is on its own on this one. Advance into the Imperial City and face the trials before you. Take your former ally as a bondsman if possible, and try not to get killed. We have invested a lot in you. May Kerensky guide your victory.
Jaden, what are you thinking? You know we have a war to win, right?
I know. I am sorry, Colonel Wolf. But this is personal. I need to see this through. If there is any chance that I can claim Mia as bondsman, I need to take it.
You know that you and your starmates are deserters in the Jaguars' eyes, right? The Jaguars will not make this trial fair. They will use your former Sibkin as bait to lure you in and kill you as a Desgra traitor.
Let them try. If anything, I pull a binary or a trinary's worth of frontline mech warriors off the line and give the Dragoons a chance to break through.
All right. Middleton,
Yes, Colonel?
Look after this one. We've invested a lot into him. I do not want to discard him and his kin for nothing.
Understood.
Middleton is all the support I can spare, Jaden. Beyond her, do not expect any further help from the Dragoons or the DCMS. Your star is on their own for this one.
Thank you, Colonel. That is all we ask.
Well, morituri te salutant.
What does that mean, Colonel?
An old saying from ancient Terra. Those who are about to die, we salute you.
I like it. If we fall as every child of Kerensky dreams. In glorious battle.
Hoorah.
Okay, well, let's see if our mechs are repaired. They should be. They didn't take that much damage. And what we're going to do is bring all of the dire wolves in. Not some of them, all of them. They have all been outfitted in the remix build I did earlier. The double LB5X, quadruple ER large laser, 4 medium pulse lasers, 13 double heat sinks. So that proved to be a competent build. So I am confident that the AI shouldn't have any issues in that. And I guess we could mess with the science lab, but I don't see the point of it, considering this is probably the final mission. I'm just gonna, mash some things in. There. One last chance to upgrade.
Like, did we just bring the science... Did we steal a science lab as well?
Apparently, the Dragoons have, a comparable science lab to, what the,
Like, did we just steal it?
And they're just like, we'll offer you the same services. I'm sure you will. I'm sure. I'll just bet on that. If there was ever to say Cap is calling, that would be it.
And did we steal all the mech techs as well?
They're also honoring our all of our clan currency. I'm like, I just bet you are. Also, I did give everyone a specialization, so everyone is specialized in assault mechs and direwolf.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, here we go. I don't care what he says. I'm just gonna fucking annihilate Mia. I'm talking about, all 15 lasers at once.
I can't stand her, honestly. She's actually probably more annoying than Ezra.
Mia, I, Jaden of Wolf's Dragoons, am here with my star to accept your call to trial.
Jaden, you and Ezra should have kept running. But if you insist on making this place your grave, come to me. I will be here waiting.
Do you declare what forces you come to trial with?
Ezra, I will give you nothing. A Desgro traitor like you does not deserve the satisfaction.
So no, you don't come with 5 mechs.
No, it's gonna be
I mean, did
40.
they not see that we wasted I forget what's after a trinary, a cluster, I forget how many, I don't remember all of the military designations for formations, but whenever you have multiple binaries or something,
Contact!
Oh, here we go.
Jaguars!
They will try and soften us up before we reach Mia's nap point.
Obliterate.
If we get too banged up, Mia will make quick work of us.
Target.
Oh,
And we
there
need to
is.
make quick work of them.
Your turn.
Incoming missile. Target.
All right, we are through their initial screen. We have our foot in the door of the city, but we still have ground
Do
to
we?
gain before we reach the gardens.
Well, we would not want to face her cold.
It does not matter how we face her. Only that we win, Ez. You need to be ready.
So do we all.
And Sergeant Middleton, when we face her, shoot to maim, not kill.
Will Mia extend us the same courtesy?
No.
No. But I plan to take her as bondsman for the Dragoons. She is not to be killed. She is family. We are not going to give up on her. We just need to give her an honorable way out of the hole she is in.
I can't guarantee anything in battle, but I will try.
I kind of just want to blast her.
Yeah, I'm like, pfft. If by maim you mean like fire all 15 lasers simultaneously. Unless she's too far away. Oh, we got a Timberwolf.
Heat critical. Target destroyed.
Like, we do so much damage, we've almost brought the elite
Target.
pilots into like the realm of being like fair to fight against.
Target destroyed.
Heat critical.
I feel like there's never any music on any mission. And if there is, I just don't notice it. Oh, he's a fast one.
Target.
Down they go.
He just
Not
lost
anymore.
all momentum and crumpled up.
Heat critical. Target destroyed.
Wasted. He's like, I have you now,
Weapons
Desgro. Oh!
online.
Why so easy, bro?
Heat critical. Target
Wow.
I
destroyed.
just.
I didn't even see that guy just like literally over the
Weapons
hill. He was falling over.
He's like, I will stop. Oh!
That's a cool city.
Oh yeah, I see they put in some like Japanese style architecture. Like that's probably a Torii gate. A very stylized Torii gate.
You can kill them.
Friendlies. Hatamoto Ku, Catapult, Highlander, and tanks.
Why are you friendly?
The Imperial City truly is the Pearl of Luthien.
Of the entire Combine. Nothing else I have seen in my many travels.
Oh god, he
This is
fell on it.
breathtaking. It's a shame it will be the backdrop for what we must do.
Target.
By the grace of Kerensky. It will be the venue that will reunite
there's
our
literally-
family.
One.
Scanners
stop.
have contacts formed up at the lip of the garden entrance, Jaden. We cannot reach the gate.
And we punch
Okay, I got the
through.
summoner.
Full tilt.
New target.
The Jaguars will make us scratch and claw for every inch.
So cringe.
That is what they are built for. What she is built for.
Target destroyed.
She believes she is built to fight for paradise, no matter the cost. Like I've been saying, Jaden,
Oh,
she is
wasted
too
him.
far gone.
Target
Guards are down.
destroyed.
No one is standing in our way now.
It's time to do what we came for.
That's their
No
screening
matter what
force.
happens, leave her to me.
We haven't even hit
We'll try.
95% condition. This looks like the entrance
Part
to
of
like a
me thought
Mortal
you too
Kombat
weak
arena
to
because
fight
of
your
the
way through to me.
Draconis Combine logo.
You know us better
Yeah,
than
it's
that,
pretty cool,
Mia. You have not forgotten years of growing up together, fighting on the same side, through many trials, the loss of our kin.
Do not speak his name. He would despise what all of you have become. It will not change anything. You think you know better, Jaden? Is that why we are here?
No!
Wasn't
We
it
are
Liam that
here
first
for
set
you,
this up?
to show you how short-sighted the Jaguar has become, how far it has strayed from its purpose.
This is a
Its
perfectly good
purpose?
shooting position.
Yeah,
Its
this is a great
purpose
place.
has always been to bring vengeance down on all the despot house lords that destroyed the Star League and enslaved humanity.
Incoming
And all I see is a star of traitors that dare stand in the way of the Jaguar's birthright.
Find cover! Here they
She
come!
has like super damage resistance, probably because she's like, I guess she's supposed to be like a
Bringing
named
justice
character.
down on House Corrado.
Blasting
The
everybody else.
Amherst coup, the succession wars, the systematic murder of an entire planet. This is the regime your dragons are defending.
The Crusader's path is not the only way, Mia. You will see that.
All
That
I
gargoyle
see
on the
are
left
enemies
has
blocking my
a
path.
center torso breach.
We have fought together many times.
Let's go.
There will be no surprises.
Except
To
for
the attack!
true conviction of a smoke
Oh, there's
jaguar.
water ahead. There's water
You
ahead.
were just
Water ahead.
pretenders. Kerensky will guide my hand to victory.
Are you sure about that?
I am
Liam?
glad Liam did not live to see you become traitors. He would be disgusted.
Look how much
with
damage
you if he
resistance
was
she
still
has.
here.
Oh, she's opened up. It's under
We are
control.
not here to kill you,
Stay
Mia.
dead.
We are here to help you and the rest of the inner sphere.
They do
It just
not
isn't
need to
fair
be
with
saved
water.
From us, Jaden.
It's not.
They need to be saved from themselves. It is why
How is he still
Kerensky
talking to you?
created us to do the dirty
They
work
thought that it
no
would
one
take
else
longer.
would do to save humanity.
They didn't count on like a million
She's
lasers.
falling back.
She is?
Holy
This
fuck.
is your chance to make us pay for our treachery. Right, Mia? Why stop now?
You show us those neural
This
implants.
is just the beginning.
She is not giving us much of a choice.
Once she is defeated, she will have no choice.
Wait,
She
there's another
will be
enemy
back
there.
with us.
We have to bring her down first.
Surely she's dead already.
It's reductive thinking like that drove Perez to genocide. The Jaguar is complicit in the events that led to the destruction of Edo.
Yes, he
Really
murdered
genocide.
millions of innocent people. But the smoke jaguars condemned
Damn, did
him
you just
for
hose
that.
him?
Cordera
Yeah.
Perez is a pariah because of his
Well,
actions.
to be fair, her mech isn't
Did
lying
you know what Jinjiro Kurita did to the world of
What happened?
Kataris? He
Did
ordered
she
the
despawn?
systematic murder of an entire
Yeah.
planet. 51 million souls murdered by Coordinator Kurita and the DCMS. 12 times the death toll of Edo, with 0 repercussions. And they have the gall to call us monsters. Where is the justice for all
No,
the
don't you come here.
countless billions dead on the order of this Kuritan regime?
Oh, I just
She
headshot.
is reeling. Her mech is in trouble.
We need to clear the field first.
So they're cheating? Did they like teleport her out of existence? Like, how did she do that?
No, I think she's dead.
The
but we have to
field
clear
is
the rest of
clear.
it. It's grayed out. It's done.
Go, Jaden.
Mia, Smoke Jaguar, I claim you as bondsman in the name of—
No! I will never be bound to you. Traitor!
Mia, please. This is not you.
Not me.
Not me! I am Smoke Jaguar, strongest of the clans. I fight with the ferocity of my namesake to see the Great Father's dream realized. His hidden hope to return and reclaim paradise.
Jaden, she's overloading her reactor. Get out of there now!
It is my sole purpose. My divine right.
No!
I will bring vengeance down on the tyrants who enslave humanity.
Damn it, Mia! Don't do this!
And they shall tremble before my might.
Mia! Mia?
What? That was a.
Mia? No.
Jaden, it was Bonsref. Her choice. There was nothing you could do.
Why? Why did she do that? I do not understand.
I know.
She's just
Colonel
like, I
Wolf?
know. Because you're a dumbass.
Mission complete.
What of Mia? Did you take her as bondsman?
Nag.
Sorry to hear that, son. But you all have done the Dragoons a great service. We've won.
I love how just jump cuts back.
Yeah. Word came in that the Nova Cats have disengaged and are falling back to their dropships. After the Cats broke off, the Jaguars soon followed. All clan forces are in retreat.
I can't believe it!
Believe it. Now, there is only one last thing to do. Drive these clanners back to their dropships and pick off as many as we can before they leave. I've taken the liberty to mark a nav route to one such dropship.
Oh, is there another
Exit through
mission?
that gate and drive all clan forces back.
Colonel, some of us aren't in much of a fighting shape.
I'll be getting help along the way. Come on. One last chance
I
to get
can't
some hits in
believe
against
it.
these bastards. Jaden, you copy?
Af. Let's finish this.
That's the spirit.
Let's go, guys.
Oh, throttle up. I guess we're moving out. Maybe this is the final mission, but they had like another thing in store for us. I wouldn't mind getting a repair bay real quick.
Yeah, actually, I have an armor breach, so I wouldn't either.
Whatever
Although
happened to
it is
those two Trueborn that we took with us?
Yeah, true.
Remember those two that were the replacements? Like, oh yeah, we're defecting real fast. Like, oh, okay.
Maybe they just put them in prison.
Oh, there's a Tory gate right there. Those red arches are known as Tory gates.
I've just been blasting them all. It's crazy, actually.
And I guess this is like a fancier Tory gate, but those smaller ones are definitely traditional Tory gates.
Come on, let's... No.
Let's know.
More of them?
Oh god.
Get to cover, now!
I thought that they were supposed to be in retreat.
Cavalry has arrived.
How are you not dead?
Target.
There we
Come
go.
on, it's time to take the fight to the clans. Show them what the Dragoons are made of.
Gladly.
Okay, I also have an armor breach.
Chase them down and keep them grounded.
Online. New target.
I have them on the
your target.
Timberwolf. I'm moving up on the right side.
Target.
Imminent reactor explosion!
I'm gonna try to get the cover. I got like a rock over here.
New target.
Focusing on your target.
I need to play a little smarter now.
Damn.
Even though playing dumb is more my style.
Agreed, me too.
Oh, he looked at me. He has to die now.
Destroyed.
Oh, we just like eviscerate him.
Half-star, Commander. On your target.
Couldn't they have given me a repair bay? I would have really appreciated that. I mean, I haven't lost any weapons. I just want to like put some armor over that like armor breach I've got. That's all I would
Axles.
like.
Where did that mech go?
I guess he's falling back or something.
Kind of smart.
New target. Target
Okay,
destroyed.
Ooh, I nearly lost a component. I am going to lose a component. Actually, there's pretty much nothing else said about that.
We may need to let them, the AI, lead a bit more.
Although to be fair, there's no more missions.
Well, I'm more worried about if there's still a tough battle ahead. You know, if you lose your side torso, you lose like half of your weaponry, because like half of the ER large lasers are in each arm, and then like a quarter of the small lasers are in each of the torsos. I will probably direct our mechs to move in and attack more. They're all in the 90s, so like they can definitely take some damage.
I'm amazed that there hasn't been a repair bay. They're normally
On
pretty generous
target,
with
Star
All right,
Commander.
I'm sending the lance in. Like I'm sure that you know, they just need to shoot at them a little bit and they should be able to get them. Okay, he's crossed into my way.
We have Jaguars set up ahead. They'll try and keep us bogged down.
They can try all they wish.
The sacrifices cannot be for naught. If we do not stop them, they will not have any meaning.
Oh god, he's shooting at me.
We will help you make them mean something, Jaden.
I can't believe there's. Are you telling me there's no repair bays inside of the Imperial City?
Yeah, listen,
One less mech to worry about.
Okay, our guys are taking care
Hostile
of them. That's the
engaged.
good news.
Target destroyed.
Engaging target, Star Commander.
And the Sword of Light, or whoever these guys are, I don't know, recognize this color scheme. They are moving up pretty nicely, so they just need to get in there and blast some people. I love how they're giving us a Marauder 2, as if the Marauder 2 is like some kind of like devastating mech. Like, just wait till this Marauder 2 tickles them like only a 75-ton fire-powered mech can.
That's actually the advanced build, but the other one's better because you can just get like a binary lasers on it.
Copy. Engaging.
The catapult's at least like launching some missiles at them.
Oh, that's Emerald's dead.
Destroyed.
Smoked.
New
Fire commencing.
I'm just gonna keep them focusing fire on something so that, you know, so that there's always something they're going after.
Focusing on your target.
I just don't want them shooting at me right now until it's absolutely necessary. Ooh, I'm telling you, I'm putting him on that Timberwolf. Look at that Oh, I can't not shoot. His back is turned.
Reactor breach. Nice shot.
target. Target destroyed.
Oh my god. Once we start shooting, it's just over.
Weapons online.
A lot of nice laughs.
They haven't shot me once since then, though, so we're doing good.
Neither.
We're also regrouping with more, you know, members of, I guess, the First Sword of Light. They brought an Annihilator and a King Crab.
And a Mauler 1R, too. And a Catapult. The Mauler's nearly destroyed that Hellbringer.
New target.
Oh,
Yep.
no, the Mauler's getting destroyed.
He's getting
as well.
attacked like 4-on-1.
5-on-1. There's 5 of them.
Well, he'll distract them. And he almost has the... Oh, I don't know if he got the Hellbringer or not, but that Hellbringer is about to drop.
It's as good as a clan mech, the Mauler 1R, when you look at the weapons it has, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would be sending a ton of Maulers in.
Right, Annihilator, go do your job. I mean, not Annihilator, it's kind of like a clan mech too, to be honest.
New target.
The reactor's going critical!
Alright, I'm sending them into attack.
New target.
Can't get a good angle on anyone without hitting our allies too much. Oh, there's somebody right
Hostile
there.
mech! Eliminated! Engaging enemy.
I beat up that gargoyle a little bit.
Target destroyed. New
They don't
target.
have a lot of armor, those gargoyles.
Target
Ooh,
destroyed.
I just sniped that mad dog out.
Weapons online.
Move up to this gate.
King Crab is eating the hits, but he's not down yet. He's about to lose his arm, though.
New target.
I want to shoot him, but I'm trying not to hit our allies. We need them alive as long
Target
as possible.
destroyed.
So that King Crab is about to drop, unfortunately. I wanted it to survive a little longer, but...
You usually got hit in the same place. And that Annihilator's also got our center torso bridge.
Hopefully we wind up finding more members of the Sword of Light to screen our advance.
That would be ideal. Still no airbase. King Crab, what are you doing?
How much farther do we need to go? Like, we've already smoked a lot of mechs, let me tell you.
In firing range. range of the Union.
Union C.
Defenders are massed, trying to shield it.
Not what I wanted to see.
We need to burn through them and turn it into scrap.
Right, I'm gonna work on
It is
the
time
mechs
to
first.
finish them off.
Target.
Make sure the people we lost is not for nothing.
We stand in this water here?
Possibly. The question is if we can get a decent angle.
Destroyed.
Wait, did he get in here?
Focusing on your target.
Oh.
Subsystem destroyed.
All Jaguars are down. But that Union is still operational. We need to cripple it.
Weapon.
Perez and others were right. Smoke Jaguars are the strongest of clans. These fights have left no doubt.
Target locked.
That union's about to go critical. Clear the area.
Critical.
Keep sending fire. It will be up in smoke in no time.
We have them cornered. They are breaking.
Subsystem destroyed. Target
Man, we are hosing the
destroyed.
turrets down. That's really nice.
Weapons online.
Kill the dropship!
Subsystem destroyed. Target destroyed.
Yes, that's the
Subsystem
end of it.
destroyed. Weapons online.
Back
Well done,
down
Widows.
to the
Well
ground,
done.
losers!
Smoke Jaguars and Nova Cats will be licking their wounds after this.
I wish this felt like a victory.
It feels like a victory
It
to me.
is.
Yeah,
The entire Combine has been saved from collapse. The people of this planet will once again wake up free. It's not much. But for now, it will have to be enough. But the scars.
Scars can be a mark of pride for our kind. It speaks to the hard lessons learned and the experience we gained.
Some fade with time. Some you carry with you. Forever. You tried, Jaden. Sometimes, that is all you can do.
Yeah. Goodbye, Mia. I hope you found your peace in paradise.
Selah.
They didn't use that word too often. Like, Selah is something you say in kind of like reverence for a moment.
That was kind of cringe, little final dialogue there, not gonna lie.
Mackenzie Wolf says, I know it doesn't feel like it now, but what you did here saved lives. This world and the Combine people are in your debt. This is what it is to be a Dragoon. And let's see what happens.
How much of your humanity are you willing to give to see tyranny fall? It is a question that Clan Smoke Jaguar instilled in all of us from a very young age. And one that demands your willingness to sacrifice everything for the greater cause. But in our strive to become mankind's saviors, we instead became their tyrants. A society that looked down on the people of the Inner Sphere with hatred and envy. Willing to tear everything down to enforce the Crusaders' will unto all. I wonder what Liam would think of us now. The sacrifices we have made. Our willingness to walk away from our home and come to the aid of those we once reviled. Perhaps this is what it means to be a true warden of Kerensky's teachings. Thanks to us, Luthien and the Draconis Combine have emerged victorious. But the fight is far from over. The war rages on as the clans continue their march towards Terra. Mia was right about one thing. I needed to step up and decide what kind of future I wanted to fight for. Now, I know what we must do. We must act as wardens to people of the Inner Sphere. And fight for that better future. No matter who stands in our way.
Okay, so to me that feels like a ending. There was obviously another pathway we will take. We'll take that when we replay the game on the expert difficulty. But now what we are going to be doing is anyone who has questions down in chat, if you want recommendations, if you want, we're going to be going into kind of our review of the game. And also, I'm going to be looking for something off screen real quick because there is something I kind of want to talk about. But, while I'm doing that, do you have any opening thoughts, Dr. Sheriff Crab? How would you like to open this, how would you like to open this dialogue up, so to speak?
Yeah, I think it's probably worth mentioning. I think, our kind of opening opinions of the game right at the start when we were first kind of trying to play the game, and to say that optimism was low is a bit of an understatement. We were kind of setting it up for failure. I think it's worth pointing that out, and I was really expecting it to be like 3 or 4 out of 10. I think it's probably what I said at the start, and I think it's important to note that actually the game has definitely surpassed the basic expectations that I had at the start, so that's a good thing. I definitely think it's a better game than what I was expecting. So that's probably what I would mention. I think it's a good base. It's a good base point to say, look, we weren't looking too excited about it, and I think that's probably not a great mark of Piranha Games' sort of commercialization of the game, to be quite frank with you, and their trailers and all the rest of it. But yeah, I definitely think it's done better than what I was expecting. I think maybe you're the same as well, Fox.
Yeah, I definitely think so myself. Like, you have to give me a moment. I'm still like, there's a few examples I'd like to show of my problems. So like, I'm kind of looking through the game still, but I'm looking through this list of videos because I think there's certain things that I can just like talk about it, but at the same time, oh, okay, I have both of the videos that I want to show because, like, basically there's certain things I just can't illustrate it properly. Like, I have to it just has to be seen. Like, there's just no other way to do it. And, that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, so as I said, I will answer all questions of what people have to say, what people are thinking about the game. If you'd like our opinions on things, like, just ask away, and any question will do. It doesn't have to be about the review of the game. It can also be about, do you think you should buy, you say, Fox, do you think I should buy this? Yes or no? Do you think, this or that? Yes or no? Like, I will answer all of the questions regarding MechWarrior 5 clans. We got one from Macronox. Now that you beat the final mission, are you just incapable of playing the save file? Or are you forced to restart it? I could probably dig up a save file, but like, I would just want to. We're gonna do it on expert difficulty, anyways. We're gonna try to squeeze out as much content out of clans as we can. So, like, I don't see any reason to not just do that in a expert difficulty playthrough where we basically use what we've learned on a higher difficulty, and then we can just focus on all the best mechs and whatnot. What do you think, Sheriff? I'll pass each question to both of us.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think I mean, we could do that if we thought it was valuable, seeing what that second pathway was like at this difficulty. But to be honest with you, I'm happy to just do it Although, I suppose if we decided that one of the two pathways was more difficult, we could specifically go for that in our harder difficulty playthrough, perhaps as well. But I'm actually not too bothered either way. I think it's definitely something that. I think for this week, for the price of the game, you probably want to get your money's worth out of it. So it's probably worth just restarting it from the base point, to be honest.
The next question comes from Happy Teddy Bear. Is the voice acting okay to you, or? And once again, I'll after I'm done, I'll pass the question off to the sheriff. So I think the voice acting is fine. I think if there are problems with the voice acting, it would be the writing, because, the voice actors have to read the dialogue that they're given. So I would say I didn't find any particular issue with the voice acting, but if the voice acting feels, like sometimes it can feel a bit lifeless, I feel like that is more the fault of the lines that they are reading rather than the skill of the voice. I didn't have a problem with the skill of the voice actors. What do you think, Sheriff?
I did think there was 1 or 2 points where it kind of sounded like they were reading. Well, they obviously are reading from a script, but you could almost like hear them like pause, look at the script, and then look back up at what they were trying to say. And I think it was actually Perez and it was Emily Wimmer was the 2 I noticed. And maybe if you're playing again, there's a couple of points where you just it's a very minor complaint. But on the whole, I thought it was pretty good, to be honest. I didn't think any of them were overly annoying or anything like that. They're yeah, and I agree that the writing was more of a problem with, maybe the likes of Ezra he was kind of just written to be really irritating. Mia, you would argue as well, but I don't actually think the voice actors themselves, were portraying that badly. I think if that's what they were supposed to be, they did it very well, in fact. So yeah, I would kind of agree with that. Maybe there's a couple of points where it was a little bit like maybe they're reading off something and haven't rehearsed their lines particularly well, but I don't really care that much either, to be honest, about that anyway.
Like, I don't think any of them were designed to intentionally be annoying. I think that it is just, I think it's basically they misunderstand the characters, or they misunderstand how to present the characters in a likable way, or a way that like endears them. So like I don't think they want any of the characters to be annoying, but like they just wind up being annoying just because
the per writing.
The technique of the writing. I think that's
like
a big of an issue there.
I did notice as well, and it's actually something that kind of annoys me. So, for example, if in different places in the Endosphere, I can understand if people call something different, but you notice that one of the members of the Star will call them the Caritans, and then like another ones will call them the Curitans, and it's like, why can that not be like that? Should be pretty standardized. I can understand if someone from the Free Worlds League said it differently to someone from the Federated Commonwealth. That makes sense to me, but I don't understand why I kind of noticed that a few times. Is like, and that's not just it wasn't just Curitan and Curitan. There was like Dragoon, and then someone would call them.
Well, the worst one is
like,
Curitan. Like the worst one is when they say Curitans.
Yeah, I think it was actually the main character that said that a couple of times, and I was like, oh, that feels so bad. Like there's no reason why they shouldn't be saying the same thing.
Now, what I'll say in defense is maybe it's because of where I live. Where I live, there's a wide variety. I live in kind of the crossroads of an agrarian area and a mid-class area. So, like, you will get people who just pronounce things, the same word, very differently, just because it could be dialect, accent, education level, just sloppy language. Some people just speak in a sloppy manner. So, like, it does stick out to me, but I'm like, maybe you could chalk it up to... like I said, just different, like, is it Lyran Commonwealth or Lyran Commonwealth? Like, both seem to be accepted as, they're both seen as okay pronunciations. Yeah. Is it aluminum or aluminium? Well, it turns out they're both correct. So, like, I don't, Curitan, I mean, it would probably be, if you want to get technical, it's probably Kuritan. That would be how you would pronounce it in Japanese. But as a white person who's not going to bother doing that, I would say Curitan. That would be our, Englishification. Maybe you would say Kuritan if you really want to emphasize it. We're not going to roll the R's like the Japanese do because, we just don't do that in the West. But, like, the Curitan is, like, the most offensive. Like, and I'm not saying that's, like, a really big deal. I'm not gonna, like, soy jack over it, but it does stick out. Trey asks, I'm wondering what's the replay value? Low. The replay value is low because you could read it right here. You can replay battles in the sim pod, or you can start a new campaign. There is no New Game Plus. You do not get to start over and get to keep your gear. You have to start from scratch again. Not that I think it would really matter, because I feel like they are plenty generous with the money. We never struggled with money at any point through it.
No.
So overall, I would say replay value is quite low. I would expect people to either not beat the game once, and that's it. Like, there might be someone who plays it twice just to see both endings, but I think that group of people is shrinking very drastically. Like, let's just throw a number out. Let's say 1,000 people beat the game once. I would expect the amount of people who beat it twice to drop down to, like, below 500. And then, like, there are going to be a specific group of people who just really like this style of game, and they will play the game an unknown amount of times. That is not me. I am the kind of person who I would play this once. I probably wouldn't play it twice. I would probably reload and, like, just choose the other path to see the other path. I would not normally play this kind of game twice. But, you know, I think it is still pretty hot content at the moment, so I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem playing for you guys a second time, but if it were just me by myself, and, you know, I'm not going to cap what people... Like I said, I'm not going to bow down and worship BattleTech, even though I do love it, and I do try to help BattleTech out. It still has to stand on its own, and this campaign, I don't think would be very fun to just do the same thing over and over and over again. So replay value, quite low. Darth Jeffrey says, do you play or prefer Armor Core? Oh, let me pass that question off to you, Sheriff. Opinions on replay value?
Yeah, I'm not going to dwell on it too long. I completely agree with everything you just said. And actually, I'd probably do one less. I would probably literally play the campaign, choose whatever one I wanted, probably watch a YouTube video of the other 3 missions, and then just uninstall it. That's probably how I would do this, and then just go back to MechWarrior 5 Mercs, where I get in procedurally generated missions, to be honest.
Yeah, that last thing you said is actually really important, because I really want to dispel the idea, because I know some people, oh, you're just hating on the game, you're just being a hater. No, we're going to go back to MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, where there's, like, humongous quantities of replayability. We've been doing so many playthroughs in MechWarrior 5 Mercs without mods, even. So, like, that is really one of the big things there. Like, just the lack of procedural generation, I think, is a really big deal. Darth Jeffrey says, did you prefer Armor Core 6 or MechWarrior 5 Clans? Let me come back to that one. That's, like, a very loaded question. Good question, but a loaded question. Happy Teddy Bear says that it's a bit of a lore dump. That's also something I want to talk about later when I talk about the story. Dara says, aside from the additional mechs, what type of DLC do you think we will have? Hoping someone puts Commander Mason in. I think that we will probably get expansions to the storyline. Are they going to do both storylines, though? Are they going to have, like, Crusader Jaden and Warden Jaden, or will we see other clans' perspectives? I'm sure other people will want to see Clan Wolf, Clan Jade Falcon, Ghost Bear, Nova Cat. They'll want to see the other invading clans as well. I'm not really sure what they plan to do. For Freddy 4x4 says, apologies for the delay. You'd never have to apologize to us. I am here to entertain you. You have no obligation to me. I'm just glad that you guys are here. What do you think, though? I'll pass it off to you, Sheriff. Opinions on DLC?
I tell you what, I would really think twice about buying DLC for this game. A $50 game, you know.
Ooh, how expensive will the DLC be? I didn't even think about that. Like, are these going to be like $20 DLCs?
I'll tell you what, I would be very, very. I already have a very low opinion. I'll give you a spoiler. I already have a very low opinion of the price of the game. They started throwing out, you know, expensive DLCs, and I mean by expensive, I mean anything over $10. I'm not even being funny for the price of this game. I would be less than amused, to be honest. However, look, this is the modern way of the world. We can't be too naive about it. And you know, Piranha Games in their title, they're going to be piranha about it, and they're going to try and steal a lot of money off us. But I don't know. They probably will bring out DLC, but I've got to be honest, I'm not overly excited about it. Is probably how I would answer that question.
Okay, so one of the things I want to answer, so someone asked about Armored Core 6. One of the things I want to talk about, and I didn't say it out loud, but I'm going to say it now. The duels in this game, okay, the boss fights are cool. Like, against the Sokol, that's pretty cool. The dropship fights are kind of cool. You know what just doesn't work? And this is a problem with probably just the BattleTech and MechWarrior mechanics, is in the books, you can have battle mech duels where it's like, oh, what the crazy duel is going around, because in the books, battle mechs are closer to Gundams. And when I say Gundams, a lot of people, oh, they don't flip around and go crazy. The typical mobile suit in the Gundam universe doesn't flip out and go crazy. Because I am a huge fan of Gundam, most mobile suits are only a little bit more agile than battle mechs. Like, yes, they can run, you know, they can flex more, but most of them do not behave like Dragon Ball characters. Like, that's not how it works. So in the books, though, battle mechs are much more capable of like Mobile Suit Gundam-like movements, meaning they can do stuff like a battle mech can come over to you, like grab your arm and punch you in the cockpit. A battle mech can like basically like push you down and just start beating your ass. Like a battle mech could grab you with, if it has like hands and fingers, like hand actuators, and like throw you into a building, and then your mech could get lodged into the building, and then it could just start beating the shit out of you. Like a battle mech could rip your arm off and then just start like slapping you around with like your like ripped off arm. Like they are capable of much more organic movements in the books, and what that means is you can have like a kind of a badass sounding duel, but in MechWarrior you can't really do that. And what I wanted to show is a scene from one of my other streams, just to kind of really show you what I'm talking about. So this is what a mech duel looks like in, what do you call it? Armored Core 6. This is one of the very late game duels, and like this is kind of what people want in their mind, in their imagination, like, ooh, we get to settle things. Like this is what people imagine. No, Snail has a tank.
Here we are, buddy.
It's Rusty.
I was right all along. You were just another threat to Rubicon.
Okay, I guess we got a fight on our hands.
Even with the combined might of the corporations, I couldn't stop you. But this new AC can.
Well, that explains it. I don't know why, but it looks like he was using the corpse too.
Come on, let's do it, Rusty. Where's your speed at? What happened to Steel Haze? Okay, I don't know what melee weapon that is, but it does a lot of damage.
Just make sure you win this.
No repair kits remaining. Left-hand ammunition at 50%.
I'm probably gonna gotta get some charge shots ready for this guy.
Where did this resolve come from? You must have chosen something, sacrificed something. You found your purpose, didn't you, honey?
Right-hand ammunition at 50%.
You can't dodge everything, Rusty! How do you like those plasma burns?
30%.
I won't stop.
Oh, he has terminal armor!
Chase the clouds from over Rubicon. You can fly high enough.
Oh my god!
Buddy.
I didn't think that his terminal armor would give him a heal. Okay, that's fun. So, I do rematch him and beat him, but I just wanted to show that. And I think, you know, I'm going to reinforce the idea that I'm not expecting MechWarrior and Battletech to be like that. But what I can say, when you were watching that, did you not feel like this is a clash between two skilled warriors? Like, this is like, you know, like, this feels like a real duel. Like, this is what it feels like to settle your differences. Obviously, and I think that's like one of the limitations of MechWarrior. You can't have a battle. Like, you can't fight Perez. Like, Perez he's just a direwolf. When you fight Perez, he's just a direwolf that complains when you shoot him. When you fight Mia, okay, if you want to see a really good battle, I'll show you G1 Michigan. G1 Michigan took me hours to beat, and I used everything I had. Like, that was the highest skill level I had in Armored Core 6. I really felt like a real gamer in that battle, too. I'm like, all of my senses are coming online, And that is one thing I'll say. In MechWarrior 5 Clans, there were some battles where, I'm like, okay, I feel like my heart is starting to pump, but there weren't any battles where I was like, now the real gaming fox is like activating. Like, I have an extremely competitive spirit that's like buried underneath the fact that most games are typically not challenging enough for me. When the game is like really difficult, though, that will begin to emerge and you'll see my more stubborn side come out. But to get back to the point, you have these duels in MechWarrior and they don't, like, okay, you fight Perez. Perez is just a direwolf that complains when you shoot him. Mia, they gave her some more damage resistance, but at the end of the day, what is Mia? She is a direwolf that complains more when you shoot her, who gets like grumpy when you shoot her. It's no different in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. When you fight Kane in the King Crab, he's just the King Crab. When you fight the one Combine Precentor, when you kill him, he's just an annihilator. Like, yeah, it sucks that he's an annihilator and that you're very worn down by that point of the game, but he's just another mech. You don't really feel like you can have a duel, and once again, that is due to the nature of how BattleTech and MechWarrior is, but like, I do think that, like, you can't have an emotional final battle. Like, you could hear in that clip, I'm like really getting into it. I'm like basically like, show me what you've got, Rusty. We're settling things right now. I don't get that. I don't get that sense, and maybe that's why they don't do it very often. But in MechWarrior 5, maybe that's why they don't do it. Maybe they recognize, like, no matter what we do, even if we give them more armor, damage reduction, all they can do to make a duel harder is to throw more mechs at you or make you pilot a smaller mech or something, make it, like, more unfair. They can't really, they just can't make it. It just doesn't feel like a boss fight to me. The Perez fight did not feel like a boss fight. It just felt like I was fighting 5 more mechs. The Mia battle did not feel like a boss fight. It just felt like I was fighting mechs. What do you think of that, Sheriff?
No, I actually completely agree, and I think it's a fundamental error that actually BattleTech and MechWarrior both have, has been making, like, assault mechs and these massive mechs like as common as they are, particularly in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. I don't know as much about the clan, so I can't say for them, but what I can say for the Inner Sphere is that there actually shouldn't even be that many like Atlases or like King Crabs or any of those things, and you're like constantly fighting them all the time. They don't feel special, they don't feel unique, they don't feel like anything different. Whereas if they were reserved for like a particular mission, i.e., a boss, and they're like, oh my god, I'm fighting an Atlas. I haven't seen an Atlas before, and you're like 5 hours into the game or 6 hours into the game or whatever it is, then it might feel like, okay, we finally got a boss fight. But I agree, I actually think it might be the fact that they're breaking the lore more than they're actually than anything else, and per design probably does come into it. But I mean, when they're throwing these 100-ton mechs at you, what else can they give you other than just more of them and ones that with increased damage? Yes, the dropship was cool the first time, maybe not the 5th time, and some of the other sort of boss fights that we had were pretty cool too. I actually think they could have done with a little bit more variety in that as well, but I think it's because of that. I mean, you go back to some of the literature that I read, they didn't have these massive mechs. I mean, if I go back to the Grey Death Legion, I think a Marauder is the largest thing you see, and they treat it like the most dangerous thing that he'd ever seen, and this guy's been around mechs his entire career, so I think that might be part of the problem there as well, to be honest. But you try and keep Atlases away from people, and you try and keep these mechs away from people, they're going to get annoyed, they're not going to want to play the game, so it's a hard one to know what to do. I'm not sure how I would combat it, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that's why they don't have mech duels very often, just because I don't think that's a strong suit of the game, and I think they try to avoid it, which is why the boss fights that did feel more interesting was the So-Call. The So-Call is probably just a made-up... I looked it up on Sarna, and I didn't see an article for it. I'm not angry about that, though. If they're just going to invent a boss fight, you know what? That's fine. Like, it was a cool surprise fight. And, and then later on they did the triple So-Call, where each one had, like, a different armament. That was also a cool surprise fight. And then the dropship, I agree, was interesting maybe the first 2 times, but eventually it did start. Now the fixed-wing dropship was pretty cool. The one where it was true. Like...
Yeah, that was cool.
But those were like kind of the cool, surprising ones there. And, you know, is it realistic or not? I don't care if it's realistic or not. It was badass. Like, that was actually a pretty cool fight. It wasn't a hard fight, but it was a cool fight. And I think that was like a really big deal there. But, you know, I'll touch more on it in a bit. Let me see. What other questions do we have? Okay, we've caught up on the chat questions for now, but let's talk a little bit about the game. So, the biggest problem that MechWarrior 5 clans had, and I told this to the sheriff, I said, you know, if this game costed $30, I'd have a lot of good to say about it. Like, if it was a $30 game, I'd be like, you know what? This is pretty good. But it's not a $30 game. It is a $50 game. And now people say, well, aren't you more willing to pay for quality? Yes, like take my headset, for example. I have a $250 headset, and that's because it's for my job, obviously. But, you know, I am willing to pay much more for quality. But how much more quality do I feel like I'm getting out of this? I feel like I'm mainly getting cutscenes. That's the main thing I feel like the money is being spent on. I feel like most of the money feels like it went to the large quantity of cutscenes. Cutscenes that I wasn't really blown away by. You know, Armored Core 6 didn't really have... It has cutscenes, but many of the cutscenes actually use in-game assets. They created movies with the existing characters, which allows you to save money. They weren't like... individually rendered out like they are in MechWarrior 5. And on one hand, yes, I do expect there to be rendered out cutscenes in a expensive game. That is still kind of the icing on the cake. At the end of the day, I still need a pretty decently meaty game. And that's one of the big issues here. And one of the things I want to, you know, like I was talking to Sheriff about was, you know, well, what if they had more missions? Let's say they double. How many missions were there? 35?
35 or 6. Yeah, I think it was 35.
Okay, so there's like 35 missions, not including the missions we could not access due to our decision at the end. But let's say they doubled the missions. Let's say there was 70 missions. And I was like, you know what? The problem there is, would it just be a slog at that point? Would you just do more missions of you go to point A, shoot some guys, but go to point B, shoot some guys, go to point C, shoot some guys? And there's only 16 mechs. So 70 missions with 16 mechs, that would be very, very grindy. Because there is, once you get the Direwolf, there's nothing else to unlock. There's no new weapons, there's no new mechs. You would either A, have to unlock the mechs very slowly, and then you would just feel like, damn, I haven't gotten a new mech in a while. Or you'd unlock them at the same pace, and then you'd do the back, like, 60% of the game with no evolution to it because there would be no new mechs. So if you wanted to double the missions to 70, you need to double the mechs too. You know, we need like 32 mechs to go through so that it feels like there is more of an evolution. And the other thing is, I don't want more missions where I just go around shooting people. If I'm playing a scripted experience like this, you know, I don't mind if you sprinkle in. I don't mind if there are missions where go to point A, shoot people, go to point B, shoot people. I want different missions. Like, there was only like 1 or 2 defense missions. Why out of 35 missions are there only like 2 defense missions? There's no like convoy interception. Like, there's the one mission where you got to destroy the mechs that are, you know, the Jaguar mechs that they're salvaging. You know, like, there are some boss fights, but then they run out. Like, they run out of unique missions, and many of the missions just feel like, go here, shoot some stuff, go here, shoot some stuff, go here, shoot some stuff. And if they doubled the amount of missions, I don't want to do more of that. I don't want to do more of just go here and shoot some stuff, because to me, that's not different than MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. But MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, I have no idea what to expect. Whereas in this game, if I were to just replay it, I would know exactly what to expect. It's just like, go here and shoot more enemies. And that's like a big problem I have with the campaign design. There are some missions that are very interesting. Like, they're not bad. But out of the 35 missions, they are definitely few and far in between. To compare it to Armored Core 6, there are a lot of missions. There are some missions where you just kind of go around and destroy stuff. Sometimes you kind of wish there was more of that, though, in Armored Core 6, because the Armored Core 6 missions are very different. There are many adventure-type missions where you kind of go around a facility or go around a battlefield navigating, and it feels more like you're going through a dungeon. with like many battles along the way. There are open world battles, like where you go into like a city and you kind of decide what order you want to do the objectives in, what order you want to fight the enemies in. There's lots of boss fights in Armored Core 6, let me tell you. There are a ton of and Armored Core 6 is only $10 more than MechWarrior 5, and Armored Core 6 has tons of boss fights. And so, like, it's definitely an issue where, yes, there's 35 missions. Here's another point you brought up, Sheriff, that Rasselhaig had like 18. Rasselhaig had 18 missions, and it was like a $15 DLC. So, like, there's just an issue that there's not enough content in the game for $50. 16 mechs is not enough. 35 missions is okay, but there's not enough creativity in the missions. There's more creativity, don't get me wrong. It's better than they've done before, but it's not $50 good. Like, this would be fantastic for $30. It would be okay for $40. You know, I'd still be kind of like, yeah, you know, I could probably, give me like maybe 20 to 24 mechs at like $40. But for $50, no. Like, you need, like you're $10 off. I consider $50 a AAA game. So, like, I expect more out of a AAA game than that, which is definitely, like, an issue I have. What do you think, Sheriff?
I literally couldn't agree more. I mean, there is a severe lack of content for $50. Put it this way, I got it on Game Pass, and I'll tell you, right, I can tell you for a fact right now, I got that in Game Pass and haven't played that game. There is literally no, I would not buy that for $50. If I didn't get that in Game Pass and I had to go and buy that on Steam or some other marketplace, I just wouldn't do it. So, like, I mean, I just wouldn't do it. That does not mean the game is bad. I just think it is excessively overpriced. And like, to me, the whole thing feels like a massive DLC. It doesn't feel like a full video game. I think there's mass amounts of things missing. I think there's really poor variety of bosses, for example. I think there's far too little mechs, not enough missions, which, the two of them coincide together, as we've just discussed. And, yeah, like, and even the number of enemies are very limited. Like, I mean, there was plenty of different mech chassis that I don't remember even fighting, so, and, yeah, okay, they added in some new vehicles and stuff. That was kind of nice, I guess, but I don't think it made up for the, I don't think that was the thing that made up the extra $20 in terms of price. And I actually think they'll put a lot of people off buying the game for that price, to be honest. I mean, unless it kind of like, breaks them into thinking, oh, it's $50, so it must be really good. I think if I think most people would look at that game and think that's pretty steep for what you're getting there. I mean, and I can look at my my Xbox account now, and I've only played this for 22.5 hours, and we must have spent about 2.5 hours just messing around and talking and trying to connect to the game in its entirety. It's just a 20-hour game, so you're basically being charged, what's that, $2.50 per hour of gameplay. That's kind of crazy. In comparison, I've nearly $1,000 in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, and it's a $30 game. Okay, yes, I've spent $40 or $50 more on DLCs too, but I mean that's still a hell of a lot better pound per hour or dollar per hour of gameplay ratio than what we're getting with this. So, yeah, I mean I'm not overly amused with the price, and I definitely wouldn't buy it for that price myself.
Yeah, and, I've heard the argument that, like, why do you need to quantify everything in terms of, like, dollars spent versus hours of entertainment? Isn't this art? Shouldn't we respect art? Yeah, and this is my counter to that. Okay, until the art is free and I don't have to spend my money on it, I will continue to evaluate it based on the amount of money I spend. If you're going to give the art away for free, if you made this game free, sure, then I will be happy to judge it purely as an art piece. But it does have a price tag, and most people do not have virtually unlimited funds. So, especially if you're going to charge $50, like I said, I wouldn't have much to say. I would have very positive things to say at $30. At $40, I'd still have a bone to pick, but at $50, like, that is a problem. Let's move into another element of the game, though. Let's talk about, like, here's an easy one. I think the music stinks. I'm not going to lie. I think the music just stinks. There's no other way around it. Like, there's no, I really we need to play some MechWarrior 2 songs. Like, even, hopefully they don't get mad at me for playing a MechWarrior 2 song, but we need to play a MechWarrior 2 song just so that we can hear what, like, a badass, interesting song sounds like. Let's do, let me see here. Let's listen to Pyrelight. This is a very okay. I need to explain the kind of mission this is. You imagine you're in a desert with all these rolling dunes. Dunes. You're going up the dunes, down the dunes in a light mech, a 25-ton mech. You're super fast. And you're just running up the dune, running down the dune, running up the dune, running down the dune. And then there's sand blowing. There's like a sandstorm, so you can't see well. And then the other mechs are doing the same thing. It's almost like you're like medieval knights jousting as these other rapid mechs are kind of strafing you. Like this is a good song. From there it would loop out. Like, that's a very memorable song from MechWarrior 2, and there are many songs like it. There are many. I didn't choose a very like aggressive battle song, but it's a very mysterious song. It's like a very like, because it's kind of a lonely, that mission is a bit lonely. You don't fight a humongous amount of enemies, and they just kind of burst out of the sand. Like, they burst out of the storm, and you're like I said, you're traveling at 120 kilometers, flying down these dunes, almost like just kind of like taking pot shots at each other with SRMs. And it's like, it just creates a very memorable experience. And let me tell you, there's not a single song I remember in MechWarrior 5 Clans except for like the main menu, the menu song that wow, 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 wow. And I'm not even saying that's a good song. It's just the only one I remember. I don't know any of it's like the soundtrack. There could just be no soundtrack in this game, and I don't think it would be any different to me. Any opinions on also you guys in chat as well, any opinions on the music, chat and Dr. Sheriff?
Honestly, like, I can't even remember any music in the game. That's like probably the worst insult I can give it. So if there is music there, I don't really know anything about it. I mean, it was pretty bad. I would say that I guess I don't even want to call it music. The sound effects in the main menu kind of does give a slight robotic feel, perhaps, but aside from that, I honestly don't really remember anything from that. And put it this way, whenever you do in like maybe a year's time and you come back to your community questions in the Discord and you're asking what's your favorite soundtrack from a video game, I don't think MechWarrior 5 Clans is going to get even like mentioned one time in that list, so I'm
not even going to ask that question.
Nah.
It's really like, it's really like a disappointing thing too. Like, maybe they didn't want more aggressive. Here's that part. Listen to this part. This is all. That's the only song I remember in the game.
Actually, now that you do it a second time, it sounds a bit better. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's like that's the only song I remember. Like, very forgettable. So like, I don't know if I'm not gonna give a rating, but like F for the music. And music stinks. Music is like dreadful. What about let's get more into like the technicalities of the game. Let's talk about the story. So, the most important thing in the story is that it needs to, okay, you're actually the perfect person for this, Dr. Sheriff Crab. This is your first experience to the clans. So a lot of people, this is their first introduction to the clan. So the most important thing the story can do is give you an idea of who the clans are. That's very challenging for a single game to do, since clan society is a bit unusual, and each clan has their own culture. But within the story, I guess I'll give my initial thoughts. Like, I feel like you get some of do you learn that Smoke Jaguar is ruthless, or do I just already know Smoke Jaguar is ruthless because I just know a little bit about them? Like, I kind of personally didn't get the feel that Smoke Jaguar was very ruthless. Everyone's like, oh, those are war criminals, Smoke Jaguar. To me, I'm like, oh, it's just inner sphere things. Like, maybe I'm just desensitized to it, but like I didn't really get the impression that, oh, we are the bad guys. Like, we are the, yes, I could see that, oh yeah, Perez is clearly kind of a mean man, but like I don't really feel like they presented the Jaguars as like, whoa, we're the big bad meanie dookie head type guys. Like, they didn't really seem that ruthless to me, like, punish these civilians. I'm like, it's like that's like Tuesdays in the inner sphere, like, oh, punish the civilians. So, like, it's like, and the problem is it does create a disconnect when people like belly aching about it. Now, I want to separate this from real life. Let's separate this from real life. When people are being terrorized in real life and, people in real life are dying, that's separate from a fictitious game world. In a fictitious game world where it is grimdark and atrocities happen on a daily basis, there is like a desensitization to it. So when people are belly aching in a fictitious video game world about war crimes and atrocities, I kind of don't care, because that's like Tuesdays in the inner sphere. What did you think about the presentation of the Jaguars overall? And you too, Chant.
Yeah, so obviously I don't have a whole lot of experience with clans, so really, and I mean, this could be considered a good thing or a bad thing depending on how well you think that they actually presented it. Because this is basically the only foothold I have other than what has been described to me and I have read, which is not very much, to be honest. So it's the only foothold I actually have got of the description of the clan. So to be honest, I think at the start of the game they did a good job of it kind of seeming like they were the bad guys, and it kind of became worse as the game went on a little bit, to be honest. I think they became just like really bitchy and annoying after a while. At the start, you kind of got this idea that, okay, these are like, superior, they're going to come in, they're going to like wipe the floor. Obviously, we know chronologically that that doesn't happen, and they come up with struggles as they did in the game. But I actually think the way that happened, it just became really bitchy. You got a sense of like self-righteousness. You get a sense of like them being very arrogant, i.e., like, they get annoyed at you for surrendering, but then at the same point they get annoyed at you for like, going into suicidal fights. Because what do you want? Like, do you want us to like, do you want us to fight you, head on, or do you want us to like surrender? Because you're getting annoyed with either. So like, can you make up your mind and like push on? So I think that's probably a good thing. That, that you get this idea of self-righteousness and all the rest of it. So I would say better than bad. Is probably how I would describe the presentation of Smoke Jaguar. Anyway, I think they've hit that part right, personally, in my opinion. But I'm coming from a very limited experience. So I can only describe what I see.
Well, I think that's actually the most important experience, because like I said, it was made for like also returning fans, but it was also designed to first present the clans to people who've never experienced them before. So I'd actually say your perspective on it is perhaps more valuable in many other cases, just because like most people won't have anything to base it off of. But for me, like, maybe it's just like I just did not care about like, oh, Perez ordered the bombing of Edo. Okay, Wow. It's not like in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, you're literally ordered to, like, demolish cities on a regular basis. I'm like, Edo, those are rookie numbers, Perez. Like, let's use the rookie numbers there. In fact, that's what Mia said, But, like, I just don't really... Maybe it's because they don't show people. Like, maybe that'd be kind of gruesome and ghoulish, but, like, I don't know. I just don't connect to it because, like, they don't show it. Like, it's very different. Like, when you see, like, real dead people in real life, that's quite different. but it's just like, I don't know. I just didn't really connect with the storyline there. One thing, here's something I'll definitely say is a problem with the storyline, and I think this is Piranha Games' issue. It might even be not Battletech's issue, but maybe MechWarrior's issue. When you think about, this is a complaint I had. So someone asked me what I thought about the story. I have had time to think of it. If you compare the way MechWarrior's story is presented versus another war drama, so think of like Band of Brothers, you know, the Wind Talkers, even other games like Halo, you know, Call of Duty, etc. When you think of how a war drama is told, it is not told like MechWarrior. How is the MechWarrior story told? It is told basically through tactical debriefings on why you're doing what you're doing. And what that does is it causes the story to sound more like a playable Wikipedia article than like a normal story. Like in a story about war, they may go over the debriefing, but that would mainly just be to raise the tension. And many times there is no debriefing. Like in Gears of War and Halo, they may briefly talk about why you're doing something, but the story is about the experience of doing it and the adventure along the way and, you know, discovering weird things or experiencing weird things or like terrible things or intense things. It's more about the emotion of what's happening with you and the other members of your team. It's not really all about these tactical debriefings and whatnot. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why the MechWarrior 5 clan story feels very dry. Very dry. It feels, once again, like you're playing through a Wikipedia article. Like, you know, Mission 1, Jaden did this, and then he did this in order to accomplish this for the clan. Then in Mission 2, Jaden went over here for this reason, to accomplish this thing for the clan. And that's just very dry. Very... There's no emotion in it. Like, the only times there's emotion is, like, you know, when Cordera Perez, like, orders the bombing of Edo. I'm like, oh, well, that just happened, I guess. You know, when Mia has her duel with Emily Wimmer, I'm like, oh, shit's about to go down. There's at least some emotion there. You know, when you're fighting, you know, with the Ezra thing, there is some emotion there. It's not very intense emotions. Once again, when I showed that clip of me dueling Rusty, you know, like, I was ready to settle things with Rusty. Like, I was invested in that fight. Like, the fact that Rusty was in a new mech, a new armored core, I was like, this is where you die. This is the end for you, Rusty. And I'm ready to put you in the fucking dirt. Like, I am, you know, I've been fighting you. You know, you've been in this game, and I am ready to, this is it. Like, this, in this case, you're on a floating city. The city transforms into a ship, basically. I'm like, this city will be your fucking grave, Rusty. And like, I was really invested in that fight, where, I mean, I was invested in killing Mia, mainly just on like, now you just shut up, now you're dead. Now you're done. I didn't feel anything about fighting Perez. I didn't feel any satisfaction from fighting him. I had no emotional attachment to Perez because, like, I just didn't care. Like, what he did didn't... I was not like, oh, boy, this terrible bad man. Time to, like, spank him really bad and correct his ways. Like, that is not something that I actually cared about. I have more of an emotional tie in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries to the Wolf Dragoons, who I just want to fucking kill, than I do to anybody in MechWarrior. I have more of an emotional connection to Kent Gerber because his voice actor gets used so much than I do to any other character. And that's all just something that I just glommed onto, basically. So the problem I have with the story is it is not told like a good war drama. Like, let's look at the game I have in the background. Let me go ahead, graphics, let's go to windowed mode. This game in the background, Nike, the goddess of victory, that has a more, I'm not even saying like this isn't a good, this was a fantastic story. There's lots of drama and emotion, and they do have tactical debriefings. This game has tactical debriefings. They don't go over it excessively, and then when you go into the field of the battles of Nike, crazy shit happens. You have to make dramatic decisions. Like your leg gets broken and you're like, does the mission go on or do we retreat? Like there's so many things, like, you know, like fighting to save the people that, you know, like there's a mission like Mia's mission where you're trying to fight to save someone who used to be a member of your team and you don't even know if it's possible. Like they're infected with a bizarre disease and you're like, can we save them? Is it possible to save them? Is anything left of them inside of there? Like, they have that, but it's presented in a more interesting way. And that's really the problem with MechWarrior 5 Clans, is the most important part of the story is the emotion, like what it makes you feel. Does it make you feel anger, sadness, indignation? Do you feel anything? And what I typically feel is just dry exposition. Like, the scenes are supposed to be touching where the crew is like, whoa, man, Jaden, like, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this. And then he gets blasted with a PPC. I'm like, oh, I guess you didn't make it. You're supposed to, like, feel something for these characters, but they don't have enough characterization for me to care about them. Is it better than MechWarrior 5? Absolutely. But that doesn't tell me very much because MechWarrior 5 didn't set a very high bar to begin with. Like, that's one of my issues there. Before I pass it to you, Sheriff, let me read this comment. Lycan Battle says, especially in Gears, yes, you're a cog, but it leads you to question their methods and the price of being, you know, like, basically, it's in the name. Like, you're like a cog in the machine. So conflicting. Here seems to be like a checklist. Absolutely. Let me pass it to you, though, Sheriff. What did you think about the story? And did you have any problems with the story?
To be honest, yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, if you want to talk about if you put MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries as the, you know, thing to compare it to by Piranha Games, I mean, if we're going to compare it to another game, it'll be ugly, but we'll compare it to I'll be generous and compare it to MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries for now anyway. One thing I would say is I definitely prefer this style of tactical debriefing compared to the crap that they give you in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. I really don't like reading, to be honest, in video games. I don't play, like, reading is a hobby in its own. If I wanted to read, I would go get a book. I don't particularly want to do that. So I did prefer this kind of voice-acted version. I don't really understand how is that complicated to implement that in the previous game anyway. Like, text-to-speech has existed since, like, you know, the early, you know, noughties, so that's a bit odd. Now, the actual, like, story itself, parts were okay. Like, you know that in the instance that it followed kind of an order of events that is set out by the FASA book writers. I guess that's a good thing. I think the aspects that are poor are the actual character development's pretty bad. I mean, I didn't feel in any way attached to any of the characters whatsoever, other than, you know, as a meme, but in the sense of saying we didn't like Ezra because he's really annoying, or killing Mia, as you said, Fox, to get her to shut up. I thought that, I tell you what, the fact that the most iconic moment for me is picking the pathway that we've chosen, walking down that hill to be confronted with Wolf Dragoon's ship, the sort of irony of that decision, and then coming across them. That was pretty much the most memorable moment, and that's a piece of like Get Good Fox and Dr. Sheriff Crab lore. That's not actually anything to do with Piranha Games. So
yeah,
I don't know.
That's a great point. No one else would have had the same okay, maybe not no one else, but most people would not have had the same reaction we did, because it's just like, yeah, exactly, it's a part of basically our lore.
But to be honest, you know, when I give my review prediction at the beginning of this series, and I said I expect this to be a 4 out of 10, I actually did expect the story to be worse than that, which is not saying much, to be honest, because I thought it was going to be like diabolically bad. I thought it was, I would say it was, you know, if I was just bad, to be honest. I was expecting utter like horrific. I would say it was passable enough. It isn't the main point that would put me off. I think there's other aspects of the game, i.e. the lack of content, that are a much greater issue than the story, to be honest with you. And the fact that I didn't really even care about the story coming into it kind of probably helps that as well.
Also, I just come to quickly announce, like, Macronox and his, like, W pulls. So, like, these gold things here, these gold characters, a 4% chance to get them, and he got 3 in 10. I'm like, that is fucking, I don't know what the odds of that is. That is fucking ridiculous. Like,
well, let's see, 4% times 4% times 4%.
It's not good. That's all I know. But yeah, like, I definitely agree. Like, that was an issue. Like, a lot of the story that we had, like Kent Gerber, I was like, oh, bitch, it's Kent Gerber.
Funny.
It's like Kent Gerber is like, not. It's just the fact that his voice actor is like, my name is Colonel Westrick. And but I can't. I will say I can. But that's an extension of MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. Like that enjoyability came from MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. I'm glad we did find some enjoyment though. But yeah,
that was funny.
But basically, so replay value, I'm gonna give it. I don't know if I'm going to give it an F. I don't want to use numbers. I just want to, let's just use emotions rather than numbers. So these are not precise. Use these ratings as just kind of like the emotion of it. So like my replayability value, I kind of want to give it an F for replayability. I mean, like I said, I feel like this is the kind of game that you would play once. And I think much fewer people would play it twice, and a very small amount of people, just people who are super fans of that particular campaign, will be playing it 3 or more times. So to me, the fact that there's no replayability, there's no new game plus, the progression system is really, really boring. It's just like, get 5% more damage. It's super boring. There's no interesting unlocks or anything like that. I kind of want to give it an F for replayability, a D at best. Do you want to give it a letter, or do you want me to just move on to the next one?
Is F the worst?
Where F is the worst and S is the best.
Yeah. I don't need to disagree with that. F is definitely probably where I'm between an F and a D. D minus if you want to do specific.
There's plenty of justification to give it an F on replayability, but like a D if you're feeling merciful. Music F. I
agreed.
Music stinks. The storyline, I think it's in the same place as the replayability. Like, the story, I thought it played like a Wikipedia article, so I'm going to give the story somewhere between an F and a D. It's just because it just lacks emotion. Okay, this is what I think about the story. I just want to kill them. Like, the story just makes me want to, I want to kill Jaden, I want to kill Mia, I want to kill Ezra, Naomi, I want to kill all of them. Like, the only thing the story did was make me want to kill. I just want to hear them squeal in anger that they're getting owned by Inner Sphere Surats. That's all the story did for me. I just want to hear clanners complain about getting owned by barbarians. So, like, that's all the story did for me. So I feel I could justifiably give it, like, somewhere between an F and a D. Do you want to give it a letter, Sheriff?
I think I'll give it a D. I think F is like. I think I've played games that have worse stories than this. I would go a D. I think I don't really want to have to like go into the real nitty and gritty of it, but I would give it a D. I'll just as a straight up reaction. I think there are aspects of it. I.e., it follows. It doesn't go too far off what it should do. But it's presented pretty poorly. The characters are horrendous. I would say I'll tell you the one thing that really saves it is the actual missions themselves tell the story quite well. Forget about any of the talking. The actual missions themselves, when you're in the mission and you're taking over a particular place, you're Edo, you're setting up for the destruction of Edo. Things get. So I'll give it a D, and I'll not go into any further than that.
I can agree to a D. Like I'll agree to a D as well. But it's definitely it's very boring. Like the story is very boring. Like it's very dry.
Like,
very too much. It's basic. It's no different than Kestrel Lancers. It's just more talking instead of reading. And now I'm glad it's talking instead of reading, but like it's just plot through exposition. There's no emotion in it whatsoever. What else do we want to talk about? Let's talk about the progression in the game. Progression. So you can customize your mechs. One thing that is kind of cool, that you can mix and match the weapon pods and stuff. That's kind of neat. On the other hand, I really don't like being able to, I can't remove the jump jets. That really stinks. It's really annoying if you want to let's say I want to move a heatsink to my leg. Well, in MechWarrior 5, I would just click and then drag it to the leg. And then bam, that would be it. But in this, to move it to the leg, first I'd have to remove it, go back to this screen, go into the leg, and then I'd have to click it, and then I'd have to choose double heatsink, bam. It's just very tedious. It just adds so many more button clicks. And you might say, but doesn't this sound like nitpicking? Not when you need to customize 5 mechs. Over and over and over again. If you want to constantly change them, if you want to constantly experiment with them, it just gets annoying having to click more. that is something I have become sensitive to over time, is how convenient are repetitive tasks. If you have repetitive tasks in your game, you need to make it as convenient as possible. I hate doing, and maybe it's because I become a content creator, and like, let's look at Photoshop, for example. There are just things that I hate having to do repetitively. Like, let's go to the thumbnail. When I go to my thumbnail, there are certain things that I just want. Like, here's an example. I hate this. This should not be here. You want to know how it should look? It should look like this. I should have all of this information here. That's annoying. Why do I need to do that every single time? If I want to edit things, there's all these different shortcuts I can do. Like, wow, what a example. You know, I could put stuff in. It needs to be as convenient as possible. When I go through the process of like brightening things up or darkening things, it needs to be convenient. Like, I don't want to have to do, and you know what? It saved all these settings. These settings were saved. They're not, let me set it to their defaults. So I can set them to their defaults. The fact that it saves my settings, it's trying to make it convenient because it's a tool. The tool is designed to be convenient. And when you use them in this manner, like I'll show you how some of this works, like how you reveal things and whatnot. And that is the goal. Like, you should be trying to make things convenient, and the mech bay is not convenient. The mech bay, it's annoying. It's annoying to use. Even though there's cool things that you can do, it doesn't matter when it's like inconvenient to use. And that's one of the issues there. Like, I think the mech bay is definitely one step forward, one step backwards. Like, it's nice that, yes, you can change your weapon pods. Oh, you can change your left torso and make it different from your right torso. You could change the head. You could change any of the parts from the different variants, but it's a pain in the ass to do. So it's one step forward, one step backwards for overall. Maybe it's two steps forward, one step backwards. It's overall nice that you can do. It has better capabilities, but on the other hand, it's just not enjoyable to interact with. Like, it's just annoying. That's the only way I could describe it. What did you think about, and same with you, chat and Sheriff, what did you think about the mech bay?
I mean, it's I don't know. It looks nice, I guess. I mean, it's visually slightly, it looks a bit more, I don't know, computerized. I don't know. I like the presentation of it better. Well, graphically, but the actual inner workings of it are pretty clunky. As Macronix has literally just typed at the same time as I've said it. I would. I'm not like super dying about it at all. I think it's pretty horrendous. It's put it this way, I don't look forward to like tinkering with the mechs. In merch you can literally tinker. You can like move things around as you've mentioned, and I'll put this here, I'll put this there, and see how things fit in. With this, it's like I almost just don't even want to customize the mechs. I kind of just want to like play them as they are because I can't be really bothered going to the effort of doing it. The pods are great though, so I really like the pod system. I mean, I don't want to give them too much credit for that because they kind of had to do it. It's kind of how clan mechs work, and I don't even think they maybe did it that well. But yeah, I don't think it's not one of the aspects of the game where I'm like, it's not like the music, it's not like the story, and it's not like some of the other aspects of the game where I'm like they're absolutely horrendous. I'm like somewhere in the middle with it. It's like it's neither good nor bad. It's got as many good. It's got an equal number of good components as has bad components for me.
Yeah, so I think that's basically similar. It's like one step forward, one step backwards.
Yeah.
Like, look at this. I can't control the armor. Like, it's always going to have 64 front, 20 rear, unless I add an armor plate. But if I add an armor plate, it eats up one of the critical slots, and then I still can't allocate the armor. Like, look, okay, I could have a inner sphere mech that has very similar armor without eating this up just because I can move the rear armor forward. So even though this has more pod space or it has more things you can swap between, the fact that you can't control, like, I don't need 82 armor in my legs. I don't need 28 rear armor. I don't need 20 rear armor. Move it to the front. It would be so much more armored if it was to the front. And so, like, that's something that really drives me nuts. Like, look at this leg. There's nothing you can do with this leg. This double heatsink. Why can't I move it if I want? Why can't I remove it if I want to? It's like I said, it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards, and it just doesn't seem like, why do that? It's just, I just don't understand. And this is a very important part of the game, if not one of the most important parts, is customizing your mech overall. Like, honestly, like I said, there are things I like about clans, like being able to swap arms, legs, being able to swap the body parts is nice. It's still nothing compared to something like Armored Core, though. In Armored Core, you literally reconstruct. Like, you could put any leg, any body, any arm. It's still a far more in-depth customization. And once again, this is not saying that MechWarrior should be Armored Core. They don't need to be the same game. But you know what would make this closer to Armored Core? If I could change the armor here. If I could remove any part that is not utterly essential. I don't mind if I can't remove the hip, the upper leg, lower leg, and foot. That's fine. I don't mind if I can't remove that. I don't mind if I can't remove the gyro or the engine. Why can't I remove this heatsink, though? Why can't I do that? They don't have it like that in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. They should have given us even more customization than this, especially considering the popularity of YAML. YAML, even though I'm not a YAML enjoyer, the reason it's so popular is because people want more customization, not less. And this gives you 2 steps more, 1 step less in customization. So, I mean, for the mech bay, I'm going to give it a C. That's going to be my rating for it. What do you think?
Yeah. I think, given what I've said, I'd give it a C as well. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let's talk about the combat and the balance, the weapon balance. I do have a problem with the weapon balance, and the problem is actually epitomized by this mech. Look at this mech. It's 7 ER large lasers, 7 ER small lasers, some double heat sinks. We got the jump jets. The problem with this game, and I understand that it's accurate to the lore, that maybe that's just a problem with the design from FASA's perspective. Maybe they should not have designed them this way. Lasers are just overwhelmingly powerful to the point that why use anything else? Why even have none of the mechs should have anything but lasers. Why even have missiles? Why even have autocannons? The lasers are so overwhelmingly powerful that it's like, why use anything else? Like, let's look at how much damage a small laser does. A small laser does 5 damage. That's how much an inner sphere medium laser does. It shoots up to 600 meters. That's farther. So the ER small laser of the clans does just as much damage as a normal inner sphere medium laser, and it shoots farther as well. Let's look at a medium laser. The medium laser does 7 damage. Goes up to 900 meters. Let's look at a large laser. It weighs less for starters. It weighs 4 tons instead of 5, 12 damage up from the typical 8 it would do, with a maximum range of 1,600 meters. Why would you ever use anything else at all? Let's look at ballistics. Like the AC-10 does 10 damage. Well, that's how much the inner sphere one does. The AC-2 does 2 damage. That's exactly how much the inner sphere one does. The LBX AC-20 does 20 damage. You know what? That's exactly how much the inner sphere one does. The AC-5 does 5 damage. That's exactly how much the inner sphere one does. Where's Gauss Rifle at? Gauss Rifle does 15 damage. I'm pretty sure the inner sphere one also does. It does 15 or 16 damage. So the clan lasers are wildly more powerful, like 50% more power. Like 5 damage up to 7, that's like 50% more. 8 damage up to 12, that's 50% more damage. 3 damage up to 5, that's like 50% more damage. But these, they are lighter. Yeah, they don't weigh as much. Like, but you know, who cares? Like, that's such a minor benefit. It's such a minor benefit that it weighs 1 ton less when it does the same amount of damage. Like, why use any of these? Well, let me find something with a missile. My Executioner has a missile. Let's take a look at you. So, the Artemis system... Where's the damage at 18? That's very similar to what, in fact, I'm pretty sure the inner sphere LRM-15 also does 18 damage. It weighs a bit less, which is certainly nice. The clan tech is superior, and it can fire up close, but I don't care. I want more damage. Give me 50% more damage. I don't care that this weighs less. I don't care if you could fire this up close. It's not 50% more damage. That's what matters at the end of the day, is 50% more damage. Like, let's look at a ERPPC. ERPPC does 15 damage. That's 50% more damage than a ERPPC would normally do. The energy weapons are so overwhelmingly powerful that it's like, why use anything else in the game? It's just like the only reason you would use an autocannon is just because you can. You know, I'm just in the mood for autocannons. Well, every time you do it, you're just making a worse mech. You know, every time you load up on the missiles, you're just making a worse mech by comparison, because the lasers are just so ridiculously strong. And you know, maybe that's accurate to the lore. Maybe that's just how good clan weapons are, and maybe they are just following the lore. That's a problem with BattleTech then. Like, and I'm not saying make the weapons weaker, make the ballistics stronger, make the missiles stronger, make the other weapons, make it where you actually have to make a decision. You know, in the inner sphere technology, I love the balance on inner sphere technology. Lasers feel good, but you know what else feels good? The AC-5 feels like the Vulcan. When you put an AC-5 on a Vulcan with 2 small lasers and a machine gun, that just changes the mech. Suddenly, like, wow, this mech is actually a force to be reckoned with, just because of the addition of an AC-5 on such a quick mech. In, you know, the Rifleman with the 2 AC-5s and 4 medium lasers, man, what a fantastic mech. Maximum armor, plenty of ammo. It feels so good to use. But in this game, you put on every time we put on an autocannon, we're like, man, this just really isn't doing it for me. You know, I don't this autocannon is kind of disappointing. You know, we were really scraping the bottom of the barrel to try to get enjoyment out of, when I use LRMs, I'm usually an LRM enthusiast in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, and when I use them, man, these LRMs just stink. I keep trying to use them, but they just feel awful. I don't care that I can shoot them up close. You know what else I can shoot up close? Like 6 medium lasers. I can shoot those up close. So it's like, you know, like, I definitely have a problem with the weapon balance in the game. It doesn't stop you from beating the game, but I think it actually harms the replayability, because you just have to go out of your way to make a worse mech to enjoy replayability in the weapon system. And I just don't think that's good. I don't think that's a good idea. I think the other weapons, there should be a more mechanically challenging choice to make between them. And if it's not MechWarrior 5's problem, let's say if it's BattleTech's problem, because that's just the stats of clan weapons, well, it doesn't stop it from being a problem from my perspective. Handing it off to you, chat, and what do you call it, Dr. Sheriff Crab, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, look, the lasers are completely and utterly broken. They're by far the best weapons in the game, which is good. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, when you go into from one perspective, when you go into MechWarrior 5, the lasers are, you know, the small and medium lasers are good. The large laser sucks. The large laser isn't that great either. So it's good that they've improved that, I would say, you know, to give them a positive. But unfortunately, it seems with this game, for every positive, there's 2 negatives. And as you say, and the 2 negatives for me are the LRMs suck, and the autocannons aren't that particularly great. There was a few exceptions to that rule. So the LBX-10 felt fine, because we're used to that from the previous game. It actually didn't feel too bad. And the other one was the LB2XAC, was actually quite nice as well. But they don't put even, you know, a shred of a touch on the lasers. I mean, they're just so pinpoint accurate. They're insane. And I mean, that is kind of similar to Mercs in a way, but like, as you've mentioned, Fox, the other weapons are equally balanced. The only exception I would give is the SRMs. The SRMs did feel really, really nice, but there's kind of no point in using them, because you can get the same effect up close with the lasers, but you also get like really good range. So while they are good and they feel nice, again, the lasers kind of just make them defunct. They're kind of just pointless. So there's not really any point in using them. So yeah, I think they solved one problem but caused a couple extra ones by doing it, and again, it's probably the hardest thing in the game to balance, because it's the thing that you're using the most. But again, you know, the price point of the game, you kind of think they would have that fixed out. I mean, even some of the FX from the weapons, like some of the bigger autocannons, they don't really feel like they're doing anything. You fire the LBX 20 at someone, and you're kind of just like, oh, I guess I just fired a shot at them. It didn't feel like you were like blasting them. It didn't feel like you were like, like even in Mercs when you hit someone with an AC-20, you're like, damn, I hit that guy with an AC-20. That must have really hurt. When you hit them with the big guns in this, it's kind of like, oh, okay, that was kind of cool, I guess. And in a weird way, the lasers almost feel like they have more of an impact with the amount of like, you actually really do feel like you're scorching them. So, yeah, I guess one step forward and two steps back with the weapons, unfortunately.
So Logan says, I get mixed feelings. Looks pretty, more fun with the pod system, but more complicated. I definitely agree. Lucia says, energy weapons stop being strong when mechs fit reflective armor. Honestly, I don't even think reflective armor would be enough to make... I would still use energy, even if, I'd have to test it, but I kind of feel like even if mechs were running reflective armor, it's just like the lasers just do so much more DPS. Like their damage per second is just so much higher, so overwhelmingly higher. And then if you went into worse weapons to try to counter reflective armor, then you're just like, what if they don't use reflective armor? Or what if every other mech uses reflective armor? And it's also not a factor in this game either. But it's just like, I don't even know if reflective armor would be enough. Because it's just like the autocannons just don't do the kind of damage you're looking for. I actually much prefer the balance in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries to the balance. Like, they're fun to use. It's fun to zap people with lasers. Don't get me wrong. Like, this direwolf with the 8 large lasers and the 7 small lasers, it was fun to use. Like, there are many mechs, like, literally just got, like, blasted in one volley from the large lasers. But in terms of, like, it's not very replayable. It's like, oh, what are we going to do? An entire playthrough of, like, lasers? I mean, eventually it just gets kind of dull. Whereas in Mercenaries, like, yeah, you use a healthy balance. Like, you have, like, the Battle Master, which is, like, a laser specialist. You've got, like, the Banshee, which is also a laser specialist. Then you have, like, the Rifleman, which is encouraged to use ballistics. You just feel like that. And the thing is, ballistics are good in MechWarrior 5. Lasers are good in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. Missiles are good in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. There's a time and a place. Melee is good in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. There is a time and a place for all of the playstyles, and that improves the replayability. So overall, I'm going to say that I'm kind of caught between a C and a B on the weapon balance because it was fun. I'm not saying it wasn't fun to do, but I also think that there is a definite issue of replayability. Like, the fact that lasers are just so obviously good, and that the missiles and the autocannons are just bad, and the missiles, the LRMs are just bad, the SRMs are functional. I think that really hurts the replayability, unless you're just the all-in laser guy. If you just love lasers for days, then it might not affect your replayability. But, I'm an autocannons kind of guy, and I just did not enjoy using autocannons, which is unfortunate in this game. I especially did not like the way Ultra Autocannon works. Ultra Autocannon in previous MechWarrior games, it just double taps. It just goes bam, bam, and that's it. It just fires 2 AC5s, 2 AC10s, 2 AC20s. That's awesome. Imagine firing 2 AC20s, just bam, bam. That's 40 damage right there out of a single gun that weighs 1 ton more than normal. That's badass. But in this, Ultra AC20 is just burst fire. It stinks. I hated it. I used it once and never again. It stank. LBX AC20, too much scatter. Way too much scatter. It was just terrible. Like, it was not enjoyable to use. Gauss rifle was okay, but, large laser was doing almost the same. Like, a Gauss rifle is 15 damage, a large laser is 12. Like, get out of here. Like, it's just not good. It's just not good enough. What do you think? Maybe you can help me out on the rating. My feeling is somewhere between a C and a B. What do you think, chat? And what do you think, Sheriff?
For the weapons themselves, yeah. I do think here's the thing, I'm saying the lasers being good is a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. They're really fun. I really enjoyed blasting things with lasers. I thought it was hilarious, to be honest. I do think, yeah. So the lasers were really good. Like, they're like A star, to be honest. They were brilliant. I thought the SRMs were perfectly fine. The LRMs sucked, and the autocannons weren't great. I'm an autocannon guy as well. But they kind of give me a new sort of look on lasers. Yeah, I'm kind of somewhere between a C and a B as well. Like probably closer to a C plus than a B minus, to be honest. So that being said, maybe a C. But I feel I'm being harsh with a C. That's a really hard one. Yeah,
it is tough to say just because the lasers are fun to use. There's no doubt about it. And it's kind of hard to think of it as that the fact that the lasers are so fun to use in some ways works against the game because it hurts the replayability when lasers are, like overwhelmingly fun.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing that actually has now changed my mind and maybe we're going to make it a B is PPC, actually.
Oh, the PPC was decent.
In MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries is dog shit. Even the ER PPC is dog shit. Where actually in this game it was actually really funny, to be honest. So maybe actually, so they've improved the PPC. Yeah, maybe I'll give it a B. Actually, so, I do think there was enough. There was some of the autocannons that were good. Like they weren't all bad. The standard Ultra AC5 was fine. So the LB10 was fine. It was really only the big ones that I had a real problem with, and also the Ultra AC10 and 5, or also Ultra AC10 and 20 were not good. That aside, I thought they were okay. I didn't hate them, so I would be taking it closer to a B actually, maybe, to be honest.
So Logan says it's a C from his point of view. He also says, I love using the AC in MechWarrior 5, and the feeling of the sound of a big gun is unique, like a pump shotgun in 7 Days to Die. Yeah, I wanted to use more autocannons, but unfortunately it did not happen. I'm still not, I'm not sure. Like, I could get behind a B. I could also get behind a C.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the lasers were a lot of fun. I also like that the PPCs are viable. I still think the large lasers are probably better than the PPC just due to similar damage and better heat and similar range. Like the 8 PPC, like what was better? The 8 PPC, here's a good thing. Compare the 8 PPC Direwolf versus the 8 PPC, or the 8 large laser Direwolf. Like, the 8 large laser Direwolf was, like, destroying things, while the 8 PPC Direwolf was, like, struggling.
Yeah, that's a valid point. That's a valid point, too. But I still think there were an improvement on Mercs. And it's hard to know. I mean, I don't know is... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, you know what? Here's this.
It's on the edge.
So Sheriff's going to go with a B. I'll go with a C. So there'll just be, like, a range on that one. I think that's fine. What else? Let's talk about, okay, so there were technical difficulties with the game. Now, they did patch some of it, so I won't count them down for, that it wasn't saving my data. One thing I will have a complaint about, though, is the connection. Trying to get the game off the ground, just getting the co-op initiated, we had a really rough time with that. Like, today, we were 30 minutes late. Even though we were trying to get the game started 5 minutes before the stream, it took us 24 minutes into the hour. So, the 5 minutes plus the 24. So basically 29 minutes, 30 minutes basically, to even get the game up and running so that we could play. And we were constantly plagued with connection issues. Like, we were constantly having trouble. Now, I don't know if it's Xbox's problem. I don't know whose fault it is. I don't know if it's the game's fault, if it's Xbox's fault, if it's a connection issue. But here's the thing. This is the way I look at it. It's kind of like the way Review Bra reviews food. If he gets a sandwich made, and let's say that sandwich was very sloppy, he reviews it as he gets it. He doesn't review it as in theoretically he could have been given a sandwich that was properly made. He reviews it for what he got, because that's what you get at the end of the day, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I am not going to say, maybe theoretically the connection could have been better under certain circumstances, because I have no idea what those circumstances are. I can only review it based on what I experienced, and I will say that I don't have a problem playing any other game. There's any other game in my list of games. I do not have connection issues. It doesn't matter on Steam. It doesn't matter on Epic Games. I don't have connection issues. I don't have connection issues on MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries playing with the Sheriff. This game, though, I think there was only one episode where we immediately were able to connect and we didn't have any problems. So that is a problem for me. The fact that, co-op is, I think, an important part of this game. I think co-op definitely improves replayability. It improves enjoyability. And the fact that it was such a struggle to make connections in the game, I think that is definitely a problem. What did you think, Sheriff?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And there's a few other things. I mean, you go into the main menu at the start of the game. There's a section for co-op. So two things to this. First of all, if you go into your friends list and try to invite someone to your game, that never works. You have to go into the group and click in that and invite someone from that. And then if you're the person being invited, there's a section there for invitations, i.e. someone who has sent you an invitation you can join. That literally doesn't work. Doesn't do anything at all. The only way you actually receive your invitation to join is through notifications on the Xbox app if you're on PC. Now this may be slightly different on other platforms, but we can only talk for the one that we've seen. And I'd imagine most people are going to play on this through the Xbox Game Pass, given the fact it's free on it. Yeah, so I mean that doesn't make any sense. So it is supposed to work that way because they have the infrastructure for it there, they have the buttons for it there, and it doesn't work at all. And regardless of whether or not there's an Xbox problem or if it's a MechWarrior problem or whoever's problem is, I don't really care, to be honest. It's what we're presented with. It's the systems that they decided to use, and they don't work, to be honest. So really poor, and taking half an hour to get something to work, full stop, is pretty much pathetic. I mean, it's about as bad as you can get. Even taking 10 minutes to connect to a game is very frustrating. So, and I mean, I'm trying to think of any game that is worse than that, and I really can't think of one. So, yeah, like that's really poor. That's actually one of the lowest points this game has, to my opinion. I think it's one of the worst aspects.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I feel like we've covered it. So, MechWarrior 5 Clans review. So, we're going to have categories. And we're going to have, we'll just call it Cat 1 just to get started, and then I'll rename them. So that we'll have Fox, Sheriff, Chet. And then I will just continuously copy this. And let's see. So we're going to give our rating. So the first rating is price. So my grade is an F on price.
Agreed.
So you're going with an F as well, and in this case, it's $50. What is your review? What is your rating, Chant? Like for the price. I'll start filling in some of the other ones as well. So we're gonna have story, we're gonna have music, we're gonna have. We'll have replayability. Let's put replayability ahead of that. Let's put replayability. Let's have music, mech bay, or customization, progression. We'll call it progression. Progression and customization. Looks like Chad is going with a C. So the next category is going to be the story. The story gets an F for me. I think it's very dry. I think it's very dry, very boring. It's not filled with emotion. It just made me want to kill everyone in Smoke Jaguar. And not even because I just find them annoying. Like, I just want to kill them because they're annoying. And I just want to hear them bitch and moan about, the barbarians. So what do you think?
I think I said a D for that.
Okay, D for the story from Sheriff.
And also for price, we've got an F and a D in the chat as well, so you might want to put that to a D, perhaps.
Okay, we'll give it a D. So, okay, story, chat. Like, what do you think for story? What else? And while they're figuring that out, I will add more in. Let's do...
Maybe, like, you could have one for the actual gameplay itself, the missions themselves, perhaps.
I'm seeing a D for story. We'll put a punch of D in. Replayability is an F for me. What about you, Sheriff?
Agreed. It's terrible.
An F for Sheriff. So, okay, we're going to settle for chat says D. Like, I'll average it together. So for replayability, chat, what is your rating for the game's replayability? Yeah, I'll separate these.
Logan's going with an F.
We're seeing Fs. Looks like F on the replayability. Oof. I thought chat was going to be a little more generous there.
No. We obviously made a compelling case.
All right, music. F for me.
Yeah, I mean there wasn't. So
F
it's
for
gotta be
sheriff.
F. Yeah.
Chat, opinions on the music.
Like what music? I don't even want to give it a rank. It's like you for ungradable.
It's like, can I do emojis? Oh, I can't do emojis. Dre says he doesn't even remember the music. Okay, so far, tentative F on the music. The music will not be weighted very heavily. Like,
No.
just because the music is bad, that's not going to weight too heavily in the overall rating.
Well,
Logan
there you go,
says he
Logan.
didn't even remember any of the music. Okay, I think that's a solid one right there. So for the Mech Bay, I'm going to give it a... I think I gave it a C.
Yeah, and I agreed.
C?
Yep.
Okay, so the Mech Bay, you know, the advancements, you know, changing your pods versus, like, being more rigid in other ways. What do you think of the... Basically, Mech Bay and customization.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones, like you say, that for every one thing they got right, they got one thing wrong. So, a C makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, I think it's hard to sort of argue that one, but maybe someone else is a bit more passionate about it.
Yeah, okay, I'll upgrade my story rating to a D, because at least I thought, like, I'm like, oh, boy, it's my man Gerber.
Yeah, Gerber and our Wolf Dragoons moment too was quite funny. Couple of
Okay,
C's
chat
there
is
for
saying
Mech
C for the Mech Bay. Okay, progression in the game. I got to give the progression an F. It's like the progression in the game is like getting those like minor little upgrades to your weapons that are very boring. It's like 3% less heat, 6% less heat. You know, like they're not like unlocking like a totally new ability or anything like that. Very boring upgrades.
Do you also include the unlocking of the mechs in that though as well, like throughout the missions?
Yes.
Mm.
The weapons and the mechs, and there's only like 16 mechs, so like that would not change my rating off of an F.
You don't even unlock the weapons; you just get them all. They're all available.
Yeah, there
from
is no
starting
weapon
to buy them.
progression. That is true. The
So
weapons are all
that's actually-
immediately available.
Yeah, that's really annoying. And I mean, I guess when you consider like clan lore, you don't have different gradings of weapons, whereas in the inner sphere there's different tiers of weapons. So yeah, I mean I don't actually even feel like the upgrades made any difference, to be honest with you. So I would probably do the same. I think I'm probably giving that an F, maybe a very low D, but probably an F.
All right, your turn, chat. What do you think about the game's progression? To remind you, you get the 16 mechs. There's no weapon progression. You have all the weapons right off the bat. And then the further progression is basically this stuff. I'll show you. It would basically be like the science lab. In my opinion, it's very boring. Getting 5% more damage on a Gauss rifle, that's very boring in my opinion. Like, when I think of upgrades, I think of like getting new abilities and stuff like that. Like, it's just very dry numbers. It's basically like the story, just very dry in my opinion. And then the other upgrades you could get was like these here. You could upgrade your characters. This is like a little more interesting just because 75% chance of evasion is like, that's quite a bit of evasion. But it's not very interactive. You just get points and plug in points. Get points, plug in points. Like, it didn't really amount to, it wasn't very interesting. And I don't feel like it played like a humongous role in the game. I wasn't like, damn, good thing I got these upgrades here.
No, and Logan's made a really good point there about, when you're playing mercs and you get that sort of sense of excitement when you come across a hero mech. That's what he's saying. That's actually a very good point.
That's actually a really good point. That's a really good point. Like, there isn't that sense of like, ooh, we just got something big. Or you don't even get the stuff like, remember in Dragon's Gambit, you would loot those red crates. Oh shit, that thing had like ER large lasers in that. You don't even get like, there's no moments of excitement. There's also nothing like, damn, we got like 100 salvage shares. Holy shit, like we're gonna be able to get anything we want in this mission.
It seems stupid actually, like telling you what mechs were going to be in it. Like if they had kept like the Direwolf and some of these other mechs, like blanked out, you don't even know what you're going to unlock. That may have made more sense to you. You might be like, oh wow, look at this mech. I've never seen anything like this before. That's kind of cool. But the fact you can see it from the start of the game, you've nothing really like, you've no excitement to look forward to. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really see the point in those mechs being unlockable. All they had to do was lower the tonnage and have them all available from the start, and have a price point on them. I actually thought the unlocking of the mechs throughout the missions was just stupid. I mean, if I wanted to have a Direwolf and 3 small mechs, why not? Why can't I have that? I didn't see the point of that, to be honest. So yeah, I think that's a very, very, very blanket F on that for me.
So the next category is going to be So I'm gonna give it an F. I don't see anyone contesting it. Teddy Bear does not like the tonnage limit. He wants to get rid of it. Yeah, it's like I don't even know what to say about it for the most part. Like it doesn't like I shrug my shoulders at the tonnage limit. That's all I can say about it. What about the graphics? I'm gonna go ahead and give the graphics an A. Like there were some issues. Like the only thing higher than an A is an S. And so the only thing that I will count off of it is that some of the faces were very uncanny. You know, in fact, let's go to the while we're talking about it. Let's watch this cutscene while we're thinking about it. Like, watch this guy's like teeth, the way his mouth moves and whatnot. Like, I just found it to be rather uncanny looking.
I present to you Khan Leo Showers of the Smoke Jaguar clan.
Fellow Khans, I come to you today with a matter of critical importance to the clans.
So he already did it. You don't talk that
Last
way.
month,
you don't show your teeth like
unidentified jump ship materialized at a pirate point above our capital on Huntress. After capturing the vessel and interrogating its crew, we have learned that this ship...
Look at it. Why does he show his teeth so much?
Outbound light originated from the inner sphere. Impossible! I assure you it is not. Capture of this vessel and the intel I am now forwarding to all of you points to one indisputable fact. Great houses of the inner sphere know the secret location of our home world. Now, it is only a matter of time before they bring their greed and their never-ending wars to our doorsteps. Great debate over our return to the inner sphere ends now. We must act! My Khans, it is finally time for the children of Karinsky to return home!
So that is the cutscene there, and I think that they're a bit uncanny looking. I feel like it got better later on in the game, but they definitely show their teeth way too much. It was a bit distracting too. I was very much like, what is going on here? Like, it's very unusual, to put it lightly. It's not like a devastating critique. However, I am convinced to lower the score. Somebody made a good point. The characters are too many ugly characters. That is enough. That is a good enough argument for me to lower it to a B. Opinions, yeah, Mr. Crab.
I'm a B, and I'll add one other thing. I absolutely despised every single time. I mentioned it countless times. A stupid dropship. Whenever it was landing, it was so dumb looking. Like everything is all of the graphics look so good in the game. Like I remember there was a Union class like taking off, and it looked amazing. It looked so good. And then you've got this janky ass looking piece of shit. Like it basically comes and lands. It doesn't look good at all. I really like. Honestly, it set me up so like to laugh every time. I didn't like when that thing landed. That being said, I thought the weapon effects were really good. I thought the environmental effects were really good. The some of the weather systems we've seen, like in the first game, in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, the weather just, I think there's one mission where there's fog in it, you're like, oh, it's foggy. The rest of them, they're like, yeah, it doesn't really matter, it doesn't really count for anything. In this game, actually, the fog kind of did make a bit of a difference, so the weather system was great. The characters were really ugly. I thought that the actual mechs themselves looked very good. The cutscenes were okay. So yeah, I think a B is probably. I would be on the lower side of a B, but yeah, I think a B.
Okay, so I don't think there's any other particular categories that we... Could anyone think of another category to discuss?
What about the actual, like, way the missions played themselves, the actual, like, layout of the missions and stuff? Is that worth discussing, do you think?
Yes, that is actually worth discussing. So we'll do this category here. This will be gameplay. So the gameplay, that is something worth talking about. In the beginning, I was very impressed because they did have a lot of interesting missions. However, as it went on, there were too many missions that were just go to nav point A, kill the enemies. Go to nav point B, kill the enemies. Go to nav point C, kill the enemies. There were too many missions like that. They began to lose mission diversity. In the beginning, in the front half, I would say, there were that surprise with the that so-call boss fight. That was really awesome. I really enjoyed that. The one where that fixed wing, the Gazelle, the fixed wing dropship was basically like strafing the airport that we were defending. Very cool mission. The first dropship mission was interesting. However, they reused it way too much. And as it went on, the game started to kind of feel a bit like a slog for me, where I'm just doing more of the same thing. They didn't have enough... Out of the 35 missions, they didn't have enough different missions. That is something that I will count off for them there. There were too many missions. How many missions were like, scan the mechs for a code and input the code to open up the door? I'm like, God, how riveting gameplay. How many missions were just like, go here, oh, there are enemies here, shoot them. There are not enough different missions in the game. That said, I still had fun. I was starting to get bored. I will say, I was beginning to get bored, but I still had fun. So in my opinion, that's a C. That's a C from me.
Yeah, I might be a little bit more generous than you actually. I think what I liked was
I can be convinced. To buff it up of rank.
Okay, it depends what you're comparing this to, because I don't like taking it out of the bounds of MechWarrior. So if you're comparing this to like the handcrafted missions in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, the only ones that ever stand out to me is the one in the Kestrel Lancers, where you're going through that mech factory facility. I can play that mission a ton of times. It was a lot of fun. That one stands out to me. There's a mission where where you get the King Crab car always stands out to me because it's an absolute like, oh my god, it's horrendous. And like missions like that, I would say every single mission in MechWarrior 5 Clans is better than every single mission in MechWarrior 5 Mercs. So that's one point I would give to it. I do agree, far too much repetition in some of those bosses, in particular the Union class. There's absolutely no reason why they couldn't have just had a different type of dropship or a different type of boss. I didn't really see the point of that. A little bit of repetition, but I liked some of the handcrafted sides. I liked the fact that there was water in particular areas and you can make use of it. I like, they were there in the right time, so you just like, there's a ton of mechs coming, you just get in the water and you can blast them out. That was a lot of fun, actually. I do agree, though, by the end of it, I was starting to think, get a little bit bored. There's not a whole lot of extra new things going on here, but I still think, for me, if I'm comparing this versus other games, I'm giving it a C. If I'm comparing this in the context of MechWarrior alone, it's a B.
Okay, so we'll go with a B. I think I am going to remain at a C because I am grading it as a $50 game, and I will compare it. I know people don't want me to do this. I will compare it to Armored Core 6. Why? Armored Core 6 is only $10 more. Let's look at these episode lengths. This took me basically 6 hours, 5 hours, 6.5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 10 hours, 9 hours. Like, these are the lengths of the streams, and these are the bookmarks. Look at all these bookmarks. Boss fight, difficult fight, duel against another Armored Core pilot, boss fight, difficult fight against a Special Forces unit, boss fight, a duel, boss fight against Balteus. That is a very cool boss. Episode 2. Duel against an enemy armored core pilot. Duel against an enemy armored core pilot. Duel against an enemy armored core. Duel. 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 Boss. Chapter boss. Duel. 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 Boss fight. And that doesn't even include just the normal missions, like just the normal MechWarrior style missions. Boss fight, PCA forces, duel, Swinburne and Rokumonsen. This was an escape scene, like escape before the cave collapses. Boss fight against the helicopter. Boss fight against the PCA warrant. Boss fight against the PCA. Duel, duel, chapter boss. Big fight here, the ice worm. Duel, 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 duel. All of these duels are like the ones I showed you earlier. Like, they're not as difficult as that one, but they are duels, armored core duels. Duel, 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 duel. Boss fight. Episode 4. Here we go. Another escape scene. Escape before everything explodes. Boss fight. No, that was a duel. 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 This is a crazy duel there. Freud, duel. This is the crazy fight as well. Like Michigan. Michigan was one of the most insane battles. Duel. Duel. That was a funny moment where I got ran over by a wheel. A boss fight. When I finally defeat the boss. Episode 4. A duel. Oh, no, that's the same one. Episode 5. What do we got here? Duel, boss, beat the game. And now we go into New Game Plus. Now in New Game Plus, there are different pathways. You can take different directions. But, like, do you see how many boss fights they have? And it's only $10 more. And there's two more episodes after that of me exploring the other endings in the game, and that's only $10 more. In other words, I expect more out of a $50 game. If you're charging $50, I expect more. Like, that's my justification for it. So...
actually, I'm going to reduce it to a C as well because of what Logan said. So, hilariously, Logan's given it a B for this reason. I think it's a good enough reason to drop it to a C. The repetition in those missions absolutely is going to show itself whenever you take replayability into account. So actually,
that's true.
You may have given it a B for that reason, Logan. I think that's a good enough reason for me to give it a C, so that's where I'm going with that.
Okay, so somebody wants a characterization rating. This would basically be how good are the characters. I did not like any of the characters, so that's a big fat F from me.
Yeah, Gerber is enough to give me a D.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm up to D. Like Gerber's in the game. Get a D.
Yeah.
Get a D for Gerber.
I actually liked Perez as well. I tell you what, he was supposed to come across as a psychotic lunatic, and I think they did that quite well. The rest of them though are so boring. Like there's no emotion in them. They're just like, I mean, Naomi, like you mentioned in the thing, it's just like a robot. So yeah, it's definitely. Yeah.
Welcome,
like,
Star Commander Jaden. Greeting protocols begin. How are you today, Star Commander Jaden?
She could be a mech herself, honestly.
She could be my computer. She's probably the computer.
She's actually, yeah, she's the computer, but she's like, all systems nominal. Yeah, I think because of Frank Gerber and Perez, I give it a D, but the rest of them suck.
What is your rating, chat? What do you think about how are the characters? When I do the overall, I'm not going to add all these together because like not all of these are equally as important. And then we're going to go into the final rating overall. So like this is your last rating. No Rihanna gets an A. An F from No Limitation. Macronox said boring, but you know I'll assume that's an F. Well, the A that Logan gives is really strong, so I'm going to say that probably averages out to a C. So there we go. And, oh, what about the graphics? What did the chat say about the graphics? Like, what was your graphics rating? Oh, I see B. Okay, so it looks like they're going with a B on the graphics.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the overall rating. So overall, I think I'm going to go with a D overall. That's a little harsher than I originally thought, but here's my logic. I feel like this game should be $30. Where does the extra $20 go to? Basically the cutscenes and the graphics. And I wouldn't pay $20 for more cutscenes and graphics of that. I do not think $20 for boring, stiff characters is worth it. I don't think I got my money's worth out of the story. I don't think I got my money's worth out of the presentation of the characters. You know what one of the only cool cutscenes was? Let me show you one of the only cutscenes where I'm like, damn, this is fucking like badass. Like, where is it?
I like the one where they crashed into the.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. It's
yeah.
Yeah, this is the only good cutscene that I really liked. This one was badass.
Watch their fire! Falcon 1, deal with them! Roger! Stu! Rango! You're too close!
Split ass, Nick, and we make another run.
I'll go right, and this time, I'll go first. Watch those mechs on the hull.
Going in high! Lead on, Nick. I'm right behind you. Stay close. If either of us is hit, we break off, right?
Norseman is clear! Repeat, Norseman is clear! Dropships detaching from the main carrier. Watch their fire!
I see it! All hands, brace for evasive maneuvers!
Get to your escape pods! Raven! Watch those damn dropships! Miracle! Tyra, talk to me!
I'm hit, Nick. It's pretty bad. If you see my father, tell him I made him proud.
This lone fighter sacrificed her life to land a
Yeah,
direct.
maybe if they had more cutscenes like that, I'd be like, oh, that's pretty good. But like I said, like I don't think that it's worth the. I don't want to spend $20 more for some really stiff cutscenes. Like that's one of my big issues is that the characters are boring. The story is very exposition heavy. And, like, that's where the money is going. Like, where is the money going? It's not into the mechs. That's not where the money... You only get 16 mechs, so the money for the budget of the game, the $50 is not going into the mechs. I'm pretty sure MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries has more mechs in its base form. Like, I'm pretty sure it has more than 16 mechs. So all of the extra money is mainly going into these pre-rendered cutscenes, which, like I said, that space battle is very badass, and it's going into all their voice actors that tell a boring story, and into the missions. And some of the missions were very cool, but not frequently enough. Once again, Armored Core 6 frequently has awesome missions with awesome fights. It's very cool. And like I just don't see how it can be justified, the $50. Like I said, if this game costed $30, I would be happy to give it an A. I would maybe not an S, but I would be happy to say, yeah, this was great for $30. But for $50, I just can't give it. Maybe I could be convinced to give it a C. But I think less than a D is probably unfair. But more than a C, I think is a bit generous. You know, unless the game was just a grand slam, just hit everything you needed in a game, I just can't see this being better than a C. So, like, passing it off to you, chat, passing it off to you, Sheriff, what is your final review overall for a $50 game called MechWarrior 5 Clans?
Yeah, D. I think just to play it shortly, I mean, I think you make a really good point about MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries when you consider the amount of mechs that's in the base game, and I just thought, well, let's find out how many exactly.
Well,
so
we just found No Limitation says Mercs has 50 mechs in the base game.
Correct. Yeah.
God
and if you
damn. And that was how much was Mercs when it came out? I think it was $40 when it came out. It wasn't 50.
It was like 35 or 40, I think, yeah. And if you add on Heroes of the Inner Sphere, which basically brings it up to the same price, you're up to 58 mechs. So, you know, 42 mechs less, and that's like nearly 300 variants as well. You know, total variants and nearly 100 hero mechs. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, the price of this is so badly skewed. It's not even funny. Like it's terrible. And I think if you were looking at this game and looking at it from the perspective of being $30, you actually might argue for this being a B. You know, I think that's how bad that price is. That extra $20. Like that, the $20 is literally the price of a video game. Like that's you know, that difference is the price of a whole other game, which you could probably get another 25 hours out of. So definitely a D. I actually, you're saying you could convince the pronounce C. I definitely couldn't be for that price. I'm sorry, but if we're looking at this game, you know, as a $30 game, maybe a C or a B, but I don't think it even comes close to it. I don't think an F is correct. And actually, when I take the exact average of my ratings for all those different segments, it comes out to a D anyway. So I think I'm happy with that.
Now, here's another way we can look at it. The cost of MechWarrior 5 right now, like let's say you got into clans and you didn't get into MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, the cost of Mercenaries right now is $30. It's really hard to recommend clans over the $30 base game of Mercenaries. Yes, the Mercenaries story is even more shit. It's really bad. It's not good. The voice acting it's like sufficient, but the replayability is so much higher than just even in the campaign, like because you could just kind of do what you want in the campaign. You don't have to strictly follow things the way they want you to. But yes, the career mode is quite a bit better. But and also when you beat the game, you can continue playing. Like, you know, it doesn't end. You know, you can continue making money, collecting mechs and whatnot. So it's really tough to recommend it over a $30 game, which it wasn't originally. I want to say it was $40 when it came out. I can't remember. But it's really tough to recommend it, especially in the face of a cheaper one. So what are people saying? We see a D-. Looks like and Metal's going with like a C. Does anyone else want to put in their final thing? We'll average it out on what the chat thinks. Right now I'm going with like a D+ from chat, or a C-. C- from chat. A D, that's going to take it down to a D+. And I hate to do it. Once again, I hate to do it. Like, I hate to give it a rating, but it's $50 is just a rough price. That's a rough asking price. Like, once you put the price to $50, I have no choice. I have no choice but to compare you to Armored Core 6, which is really bad. Let me put it this way. You do not want to be compared to Armored Core 6. Like, Armored Core 6 is a really rough customer in terms of quality. Like, if you're at $40, I might make light comparisons to Armored Core 6. And if you were at $30, I probably wouldn't compare you to Armored Core 6. But at $50, I have no choice but to compare you to Armored Core 6, which is only $10 different. In fact, let's see if Armored Core 6 has gone down in price. Armored Core.
$30 is the release price of MechWarrior 5 Mercs. I just looked it up.
Okay, so the original price was $30. That's really not good for MechWarrior 5 Clans. Like I said, that means that is so 16 mechs versus 50. That is not good. That's really bad. That means that the extra money didn't go into the most important part of the game, which is the mechs. It went into something that is you expect a story, you expect cutscenes. But that is not good. That definitely, okay, like, you know, before I felt maybe I'm being a little mean at D, but no, I don't think I'm being mean. I think that I hate to do it, especially because it's the return of the clans, and I have a lot of good memories of MechWarrior. But like, man, $50, that is a rough price for only 16 mechs. Like, I just cannot, I just can't do it in my right. D is still a high enough rating that if the game were perfect for you, like I have bought bad. Let me show you a bad game that I bought anyways. Gundam Crossfire. This game stinks, and I bought it anyways because I like Gundam. And see here you can see these are mobile suits. You see how they don't move like they're flipping out like ninjas? Look, they almost move like battle mechs here. They move very similar. So when I compare a mech to a Gundam, don't think that I'm talking about something that specifically moves like a ninja or something. In the typical Gundam universe, the traditional Gundam universe, they move more like battle mechs. Like see how this is a Gundam itself. It moves much more like that. This game stank. This game absolutely should earn an F. But I bought it anyways. Why did I buy it anyways? Because it was specifically perfect for me. So just because I'm giving the game a D, just because Sheriff is giving the game a D, just because the chat is giving it a D, the game could still be perfect for you. A game that is an F or a D that is still perfect for you is still perfect for you. So that's the way I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
but like, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to do some more. I like mouths. You like mouths as well, statistics and numbers and things. So, and I really think value, especially when I'm making a rating for someone else, I think value for money is one of the most. In fact, it may even be the most important factor. And at the current hours that me and you have both played, Fox, divided by the price divided by hours is $2.22 per hour of gameplay. I have played 929.6 hours of MechWarrior 5 Mercs with a $30 price tag, which I actually got for free anyway because I got it on the Game Pass. But let's just imagine I did pay that amount for it. And even if you consider me paying double the price because I bought every single DLC, so if you add that into account, it's 7 cents per hour. So that's an enormous difference.
Yeah, I definitely think there is a thing to replayability. Like, I've already played Don't Starve Together. I only bought it like a little while ago. 111 hours. The First Descendant, 720 hours. Helldivers, 408 hours. Oxygen not included, 707 hours. Battletech. Like, just so that people don't think that I'm hating. I know there's going to be people who think I'm hating on on MechWarrior. Look at this, BattleTech, 1,025 hours, and I still want to play this game. I'm not done with this game. I still want to play this game without any mods. I don't need any mods to enjoy this game. Yeah. Like, that shows it right there. Like, what other games have I played a lot?
I mean, it's 31 times cheaper for me to have bought MechWarrior 5 Mercs than it is Clans. That's crazy. 31 times different.
RimWorld, 150 hours. Warframe, this doesn't show my true hours because I played it on the Xbox longer. XCOM, 100 hours. Armored Core 6, 85 hours. Not as much as other games because it has the same issue of MechWarrior 5. Eventually, you do run out of missions. What other games have I played a lot?
3 times or 4 times the gameplay.
And I enjoyed every moment of it. It never felt grindy or anything at all like that. So it's like, when I look through my games, like of the games that I have put a decent number of hours into, yes, I understand that a game can have a lot of quality, that there is art to games, but that doesn't mean that prices don't exist. Until games are free and I don't need to pay money for them, the price is a factor. Like, it can't just be the art. Unless you're just filthy rich and you can just shit $50 out and be like, like I could put $50 into another game. Like, there are other games that I could pay $50 for. So overall, I'm going to go with the D overall. So that is going to be my rating. The D is the Sheriff's rating, and D to a D plus seems that the maybe a C minus at the most. And like I said, I'm not happy to give it that rating.
No,
I might, I mean, because it only hurts me. It only hurts me if the game doesn't knock people's, faces off. Because the more the game impresses people, the more people are going to watch my content. And people ask me, am I going to make MechWarrior 5 Clans content? Like, I kind of don't want to, because I don't think the replayability is going to be there. I think people are going to play Clans, and then they're either going to go back to MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. You already see people complaining about the lack of YAML, and that YAML gives them more replayability, or they're just going to go and play a totally different game altogether and not go back to MechWarrior in general. Like, that's what I predict. So this game does not inspire me to make content for it. That's the other thing. Like, when I make content, there is an artistic element, and I don't feel inspired to make content for it. That doesn't mean we will not continue playing Clans. Like, I do have at least one more playthrough in me, and we might even do some goofy, dumb builds as well. But yeah, I don't think that, this is definitely going to be something where we'll do one more playthrough, maybe we'll do some dumb builds, and then we'll wait for the DLC to come out. I will be very unhappy, though, if the DLC is $20, though. I'm not going to be happy about that.
Yeah,
so,
I totally agree.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead. There was a request. People wanted to see the end of that battle that I demonstrated, which I will oblige people. And once again, part of the purpose of me showing this is going to be, you want to see, an emotional, you want to hear a battle that gets me hot, like a battle that, gets me going. Okay, I'll show you, a few more battles from Armored Core. And once again, I want to point out, this is not me saying that BattleTech should be Armored Core. I'm not, because they are different mech universes, but this is the emotion that I'm looking for in a game. So I just got defeated. This is the rematch. So he's got the enhanced, he has the Steel Haze Orta. Oh, I get it. He has a coral drive. Orta is the name of a coral drive. That's a miss.
Well, that explains it. I don't know why, but it looks like he was using the corpse too.
Come on and land.
They've always been after Rubicon, taking what they can get.
How do you like that big shot?
Look at me, tourist. Just make sure you win this.
Where did this resolve come from? You must have chosen something.
Come on, Rusty.
You found your purpose, didn't you?
Oh my god, you're just gonna eat that attack head on? You're just gonna take that fully charged shot? You're no match for the hopping menace. Too slow, Rusty. Steel Haze isn't the speed that it used to be. The laughing one has the last laugh. That's something I really like about this game. You get to name, your mechs, and it shows you it. You can name your mech in MechWarrior as well, but in your duels, it does show you your, what do you call it, the name of your mech, and that is a bit of a mark of pride. Like my arm, you notice I didn't name my mech in MechWarrior. It's because you change your mech too frequently. In Armored Core, although you take them apart and rebuild them, it is the same machine. And as a result, I feel an attachment to the machine. So I gave it a name. The name of my Armored Core was the Laughing One. And it was like a point of pride. It was kind of you may think you're tough, but all machines have their limit when they face the Laughing One. Or I'll even make jokes I always have the last laugh. You were a good warrior, but I always have the last laugh. And this is the other fight I'll show, which is against, look at the length of it. You see this segment right here? So from 53 minutes all the way to 2 hours and 24 minutes. That's how long it took me to fight Michigan. That's how hard of a fight is. I'll show you my first fight against him and my last fight, where I finally beat him. Oh, yeah, because I think Michigan is, I think he's friends with Michigan. It's Walter is going to be sad face. Oh, well. That's what Balaam, Dafeng, and them get for being rude.
talking about the wall climber, the worm killer, the only gun 13 has managed to live this long. Until the Liger-tailed poisoning odds are not in your favor. You better keep the emergency eject primed.
Second wave incoming.
Okay, I see. It's a survival situation.
Watu? Oh yeah, the deserter who pissed his pants and ran.
I forgot we still kept you around. Plus, it's worth 100 of you, which means, Albany, a merc is worth 20 a.m. You're doing nothing productive. Why don't you do the math for us?
The answer is yourself and Albany, sir!
Shut your stingle and start shooting!
I'm so... all these MTs we gotta deal with. So as a quick explanation, this is the real Fox talking, not recorded Fox. This particular armored core is designed to jump a lot. That's why I may seem like a crazy man jumping everywhere.
Oh, they brought a big boy in.
It is designed to jump a lot.
You got plenty of medals already, sir.
It's very lightweight though, so I can't take a lot of damage.
Whoever takes down gun 13 gets to take home a bale of cobalt metal. They're good, you know. They go real far when you throw them.
Left-hand ammunition at 50%.
They're sending drones now. You know, the good news is that the Turner is actually really good at killing drones.
Listen up, maggots. This field trip is now a hunting expedition. You can go home now, or follow me if you got a death wish.
Okay, where did the tetrapod go?
The tetrapod is like a heavy duty enemy that takes a lot of effort to kill. That's it right there. You might think I'm doing really good too, like man, like it took Fox so many times to beat this.
Yeah,
mission.
they're definitely coming with the numbers, that's for sure. Good thing the increased thrusters are actually going to be handy, because I'm going to use it to try to whittle them down and avoid Michigan.
Just wait till Michigan shows up, then it's when it gets bad.
Go multiply your rifle training and see if you can learn to do something useful.
Right-hand ammunition at 50%.
They're like so many bodies of enemies, they're like eating up my ammo. Doesn't help that this stupid tetrapod is so heavily armored as well.
Oh, the battle's getting dirty now. I haven't even played this game.
Do these
in a
guys
while.
come infinitely?
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, is there no end to these guys?
Maybe that's not the strategy. I was thinking that maybe I just needed to defeat, I did think more than 40 MTs, wow. I'm gonna need ammo.
Okay, Michigan is here now. He is in a machine equivalent to mine. Those MTs are basically like basic mechs, like low cheap kinds. An armored core
And the Turner is
like a
actually still
state-of-the-art
ripping
mech.
these guys up.
So now that Michigan is here, now it's an actual fight because it's another real armored core versus instead of like a mass production, like MTs are basically just mass production mechs.
I did not bring a weapon that is very good against the tetrapod. I hate this thing. It's pretty banged. Oh, is that Michigan? I can't tell. I wish he had a more noticeable paint job.
That's Michigan.
Okay, that's
right
Michigan
there.
right there.
Oh, I just said it there too. You can tell the difference in his fighting style compared to like these ordinary guys. He fights very aggressively, very evasively. Like
unfortunately,
the
I am
difference
currently
in...
out of
You can see now I'm getting really pressured. Like now that a real armored core pilot is here, you can
Oh my
see
god,
like,
I
I'm
can't
on the
see.
back foot now.
I can't see which one is which, and I'm distributing my fire across all of them. That's the tetrapod. Okay, we killed the tetrapod. The problem is there's just so many enemies. Okay, so we
that
need...
was my blind attempt. Now, over a bajillion times later, I eventually managed to defeat him. Let's see where I actually finally beat him, though, and we will watch that battle. Like, I was very proud of that fight. Okay, this is where I won. Let's rewind it to the beginning of the fight. And you can see the difference in my technique.
I don't dislike this laser, but I think it's hard to charge it up. I think I just want the simplicity.
And, of course, the beautiful channel colors, like the fox colors.
On the songbirds. Let me see if I can find a way to dump a little bit of weight. So that we don't have to be, like, overburdened.
So in this game, you do have a concept of tonnage, but your tonnage is variable because you're snapping different parts together. Certain parts allow more tonnage, but generally a part that allows more tonnage makes you slower.
Wait, maybe we don't need that powerful generator. There we go, there we go.
So in
this generator
here I
isn't
am
quite
swapping
as
out
strong,
different engine parts.
but I think that's fine.
So you could control your engine.
Because we don't need all that. We're not using all of that extra energy.
You also have a power plant. Like, you know, some weapons, energy weapons, use up a lot of electricity to power.
So, upsides to the pile. The pile is really fast. Or rather, the recovery is very quick. It also does a lot of knockback.
Okay, hopefully this is my winning run. I think this is my winning run. Let me see if I restart.
Thank you for the 5 gifted subs, Okanzoni. That's the encouragement I need. We're going to get through this.
Good old Okanzoni, always coming in clutch. Now these are the battles that
Here
make me
go.
feel like a real gamer.
You see how quick you recover from it? That's really good.
So after fighting this boss multiple times, I eventually came up with like a specific strategy. As you saw in the first battle, I was running out of ammo, so I brought a weapon that doesn't use ammo, a pile driver.
Locking on with the missiles?
You basically punch with this pile driver, and it fires out like a...
Somebody said that this game doesn't have a lot of strategy, and I'm just like, okay. Like, look at this, like, beautiful combination of weapons I'm using to counteract such a wide variety of enemies, and, like, telling me that, oh, it doesn't have a lot of strategy.
Yeah, here I am. I don't even need commentary. Like, I give my own... It's almost like I'm a content creator or something. But that right there was the pile driver. It basically fires out
I feel so much better.
A metal
like,
stripe.
that made such a big deal.
Sir, yes, sir.
Like, we're so much faster now. I mean, the previous speed was sufficient, but this is really nice.
Geronimo! Yeah! Liger Tail's gonna be good to go soon. Keep the target busy. Now, come on, sir. You gonna ride out and steal all the credit? You got plenty of medals already, sir. We want some of the glory, too. Fine. Whoever takes down Gun 13 gets to take home a Balaam 12
That was a heavy cannon. That's one of my shoulder-mounted weapons. So a armored core can be equipped with 4 weapons. I have 1 weapon on each of my arms and 1 weapon on each of my, basically my side torsos.
Don't push the old girl too hard, huh?
So that was the tetrapod. Remember, it was giving me a lot of trouble earlier?
It's beautiful, isn't it? Like, it's so crazy how, like, this AC has so much grace.
My thoughts exactly. Reacting to myself.
It's like it dances across the battlefield.
Isn't that just the case? The grace of the fox on display. So what I'm doing is, this is something that you kind of wish LRMs could do this. I can actually lock on to multiple enemies and cause the missiles to fire. Instead of all the missiles at one enemy, they lock on to a spray of enemies, and then each missile seeks out a different enemy. That is a very cool feature that I liked in Armored Core 6.
Go multiply your rifle training and see if you can learn to do something useful.
And you can do that in Battletech as well, because you can set 2 enemies.
Yeah,
to fire
that's
one
true.
LRM
You
at
can
one
do
and one
that.
LRM at the other.
Did you see it right there? Did you see how the missiles distributed and they hit a whole bunch of different targets?
Yeah.
So to explain the weapons here, I'm using a plasma cannon, and that's because it's not a very accurate weapon, but I'm like, I don't think I'm fighting very mobile enemies. When the plasma cannon hits, it explodes into kind of like searing, burning
Can't let them
energy.
swarm me.
And that's basically what I'm, it's a very good weapon against immobile enemies. Very efficient, and the issue was that I was running out of ammo. That was the main cannon. That would be the weapon on the left torso.
At 30%.
The weapon on the right torso is a missile launcher.
Well, he wasn't ready for that hit.
What I just used there was on the left arm. That was the pile driver. Right there, that's the pile driver. That weapon does a lot of damage and doesn't use ammo, which is why I wanted it. Like this build was very specific to. There's so many enemies that I've got to save ammo. I use very ammo-efficient weapons. You see how it's taking that plasma rifle is taking them out.
Trying to
in
just
like a
focus
single
on
hit.
thinning them out right now. I want to get some distance on Michigan.
So right now, I'm using my speed to outmaneuver. Michigan is a slower.
Getting rid of the sniper
Armored
MTs
Core.
right now.
And I'm trying to isolate them so we can have
Not
a
sure if
one-on-one
that's
duel.
the tetrapod or not.
There's the multi-launch missile, basically like a LRM stream. Now, if you're wondering how I'm dodging all of this, once you get good at the game,
That's
you
the tetrapod.
You get a three-dimensional spatial sense of like where you are. So what I'm doing is rattling his machine up. Like right there, I basically rattled him up so much that the pilot was basically not rendered unconscious, but if you hit an enemy hard enough in this game, it stuns the pilot. Like the pilot is basically, holy shit, what the fuck
That should
just
be enough,
happened?
I think. Oh my god, I think it survived on one. Like, it's just got a little smidgen of health left.
So what I'm doing is just hammering the thing, just smashing it with so much kinetic force that the pilot is getting stunned, and then I use the fact that he can't move for a moment to just really let him have it.
Okay, now it's dead.
All right, now my duel with Michigan.
Missed the melee attack there, which stank.
Once again, using my speed, not fighting Michigan's game.
Okay, now
fighting
my
to
goal is to let
game.
my thrusters cool down, let all of our weapons reload. I would have heard the dialogue from Michigan that we killed all his guys, so I don't think they're all dead. Gonna send a signal out.
At 30%.
Took a hit from the scattering missiles there, unfortunately. Okay, I'm ready.
I'm being very patient. There was basically the LRM. So he has a different kind of LRM. It fires one big missile, then the missile ejects a bunch of smaller missiles that spread out and surround you. So it's a different style of missile. So there I knocked the pilot, I stunned the pilot, so I'm going in for the damage. I missed with the pile driver. You could see the swarming missiles were trying to get me right there. Oh, got it with the pile driver. My own missiles going out. Knocked him there, so now he's stunned.
Ooh, that was a nasty hit.
We can add numbers.
Right ammunition at 30%.
He's using his Gatling gun on me, so I gotta keep moving, because, like, I don't have the armor. Even the chip damage from the Gatling gun is too much. We're playing, right now I'm playing his game, though. You know, we're fighting man-to-man right now. This is more to Michigan's favor. Oh, it's really close. We're both almost down. He missed with the cannons. The swarming missiles are coming in. Return fire with my own missiles. We're both about to drop. We're both almost dead. We both barely have anything left. I'm down to my last few hits. So is he.
30%.
He missed. He missed with the cannons. My emergency armor activated, but he went down.
That was one. Is that one health?
Yeah, I lived on 1 health.
Wow.
On 1.
After how many hours of trying?
Oh god, the MT could kill me. Oh, there's one enemy remaining. The MT could kill me. I literally have 1 health. So there's 1 enemy remaining, and I couldn't find him. And I could literally die from, like, the pissiest machine gun. I don't know where the last MT is. Oh my god, what if I die on 1 health? What if I die on 1 health? I just, like, literally overkill. I just shot everything I had at them. I'm like, no! You will not do it! Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's over. Good holding out, 621. Our work here is done.
Oh my god. That was a real battle. Now that was a battle. Oh man. So you never hear me say anything like that when I was playing in clans, because there was never a moment that I really felt like I was being pushed to the limits of my capabilities. Like, you know, the PPC, when I had to fight the remaining enemies with the PPC, sure, that took more effort. But, like, you'll never hear me go like, oh, man, I finally win. I cannot believe I did that. Like, you know, I don't have a webcam, but when I'm doing that, I'm usually leaning back in my chair and putting my hands over my eyes like, oh, I finally won after all those tries. I finally won. And, you know, like, but those are, like, the emotions where, like, you know, I feel like a real mech pilot in a duel against another mech pilot where I'm just like, damn, this is a battle between 2 skilled warriors right here. And that is something they really can't do very well in MechWarrior, unfortunately. Because, like I said, when you fight Perez, he just feels like a dire wolf. A dire wolf that bitches when you shoot him. Mia, she also just, the fact she used the same mech too, she also feels like just a dire wolf. You know, she just bitches when you shoot her. You don't really get a feeling like that battle felt like I was settling things. Same with the battle against Rusty. You know, I even get animated. Like, I mean, I'm like, you know, I'll even get into it. Like, I'm into the battle. I'm like, you know, yeah, this is it. Let's do it. I don't really get that. And, you know, like, I'm not saying that MechWarrior needs to be Armored Core. They are different games. But that is something, those emotional boss fights where I'm like, it's time to settle our differences. You know, like, 2 enter, but 1 exits. You know, you don't really get that in, and I don't know what they can do. You know, it's just a limitation of MechWarrior, because once again, in the books, the battle mechs in the books are much more mobile. They're much more humanistic. Like, they're capable of much more graceful movement than they are in MechWarrior. Like I said, you could punch it out, you can grab mechs, you can throw mechs. You know, like a big mech could go up to like a hunchback, grab its autocannon and just rip the autocannon right off of its side torso. You know, you can do stuff like that. And you know, like I said, like maybe that's just a limitation of MechWarrior. Here's another limitation of MechWarrior. A direwolf isn't that. I don't care if it's a direwolf. Like, you're just a bigger, slower mech that's easier to shoot because, like, just because take Gerber. Gerber was in an Annihilator. Should I be, oh no, it's an Annihilator? No, you're just a bigger, slower mech and you're easier to kill. Like, being bigger just means you're easier to shoot. Like, it doesn't necessarily make you a more challenging opponent when you're in a bigger mech. Like, if you're, like in the Solaris tournament, the final boss is an Atlas. Am I like, oh, no, it's an Atlas? I'm like, oh, an Atlas? Oh, that just means you're a big, fat, easy target to shoot. Like, it doesn't really feel like a final boss or anything like that. Now, once again, in defense of MechWarrior, the so-called helicopter, that was a cool fight. Not as cool as the Armored Core helicopter that you fight, and it was probably inspired by it, but still cool. The Gazelle dropship, that was pretty cool. Even if it's not as realistic, it was still cool. So there were some cool fights that did not previously exist in MechWarrior games, but they were a good idea. You know, I don't know what they can do at Mech Duel. Same with the Bounty Hunter. When you fight the Bounty Hunter, he's just a marauder. I'm not like, oh, no, it's the legendary bounty hunter. What do? I shoot him, I guess. You know, like, it doesn't feel like it takes... It didn't feel like it took any skill to beat Perez. I didn't feel like I was fighting a good pilot. I didn't feel like I was fighting, like, an elite clan warrior. When I fought Mia, I didn't feel like I was fighting an elite clan warrior. I just felt like I was fighting a direwolf that takes more damage than normal. That video you just watched, I don't think anyone would deny that looked like a battle between two skilled mech pilots that had to use all the skill, predictive timing, the correct weapons, fighting with everything their machines have got down to the wire. I survived on one fucking armor and managed to beat it. Like, that felt like a real battle between warriors. And, like, that's just not something that they're capable of presenting. And, like, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how you do it. If it's even possible, but that kind of emotional battle, the battle, it makes me go, oh my fucking God, I won, I did it. Oh, that was a battle. I'll always remember Michigan's battle because of that. I'll always remember those fights. And like I said, at the end of the game, what is the purpose of a video game? It's to give you these positive emotional responses, to make you, that's what makes you remember a game, these positive emotional moments. And, like, that's what's missing in the Piranha Games formula. Anyways, closing thoughts on everything before we wrap this stream up. Or did we say enough?
I think we said enough. I mean, I'll tell you what, like, it's a D, but I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed playing with you, Fox. It's been good. I've enjoyed interacting with the audience. I feel like that's definitely made it better than it possibly could have been if you're playing this as a solo experience. So I hope that hasn't actually improved our rating more than it possibly should be. I'm not sure how that game would feel if you're doing it by yourself. So, but I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed that aspect of it. So thank you for having me along for the ride.
You know, Bet, that's a good point. Like, my God, that's actually an excellent good point. Like, I think, honestly, and I'm not blowing smoke up the audience's ass here. I promise. Like, that playing for other people definitely increased the enjoyability. Like, I enjoyed talking a little bit about the clan culture. I enjoyed speaking about the words, you know, Isorla, Sela, Bonsref, Bondsman, Stravag. I enjoyed talking about that, but I never would have done that if I was streaming. If I was just playing by myself, I would have been like, oh, that's a Mad Dog / Vulture. Oh, that's a Hellbringer / Loki. I never would have done that, and I do enjoy talking about it. So it is true that, and like I said, I'm not just like kissing, there is no brown nosing going on. It actually, I do enjoy teaching. Anyone who's spent some time talking to me in the Discord, which I do talk in the Discord. In fact, why not have a invite into the Discord, by the way? I do enjoy teaching. Like, that is, I thought about being a teacher before I became a what do you call it? A content creator. There is a link into the Discord. And so, yeah, I do enjoy teaching, and I do think that did improve the enjoyment. I enjoyed also getting your reaction as well, Dr. Sheriff Crab. Like, you know, if we played this game individually solo, we probably would have had a very different experience. So I do think that made it a bit more enjoyable. Now I'm not going to lie. On God. You know what else made the game more enjoyable? Game Pass. Not paying $50.
It definitely did. Would recommend, if you're going to play the game, to get the Game Pass for a month and quickly play it and then cancel your subscription, to be honest.
Yeah, just buy 1 month of Game Pass, honestly. A month of Game Pass, that's more than enough time. More like a whole 30 days is more than enough to play this game out. You'll probably play it out in like 3 or 4 days at the most.
So, like, and then you can enjoy any of the other games on the Game Pass as well. It's great as a content creator. It saves me a lot of money since I'm able to play the games and not have to pay the full price. But you know what? There we go. So we beat the game. I gave you my final review. I think it was a pretty in-depth review for anyone just now joining. Here are the ratings for the game, real quick, so that you could see, what I thought, what the sheriff thought, what the chat thought. And as for plans, I will show you the schedule in a moment. We will probably take a week off just to kind of recover. Anytime I beat a game, I like to take 1 week off. But we will be back. I wanted to make sure we beat it. Not beat it is not a word. Is beat it a word? Beat it is not a word. I want to make sure we beat clans within the month. We will come back, though, and we will do an expert playthrough. So today is the 30th, the second to last day of October. So this week here, this is the first week of November. Really, this is the first day here. Probably no MechWarrior clans this week, or next week rather, so we could take like a break. Because I don't want to burn out of things. The reason I can play these games for like years and years and years is that I take a break so I don't burn out. Then we'll come back and we will do an expert playthrough. We'll probably skip all the cutscenes though, so it'll probably be a shorter playthrough. Do it on expert. Then we'll do Mia's side of the story. Then we'll watch the cutscenes. We'll listen to the debriefing from her perspective, and then we could say we did basically everything. And if there are any other silly builds, you could certainly suggest them. If you want to try a build here, in fact, I will ping BattleTech. If you want to see a specific build in the MechWarrior 5 Clans Expert playthrough, post here and ping me, and I'll pin your suggestions and play them on stream. There we go. So if you have a mech build that you want to see, send it to us. We'll try it out. And that'll be that. So those are our final reviews. Overall, basically a D. The issue being that the game is just too expensive for what you get. Too expensive. If the game were cheaper, I would be very happy to give it a B, maybe even an A. Definitely not an S, though. It's definitely not S tier. And this background is probably going to change soon because Cinderella is coming out. In fact, I see somebody got Cinderella, who is this character right here. Cinderella is the new hotness, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have an animated wallpaper with Cinderella on it. So don't be surprised if you see a new background very soon. Where is the anime they did for it? I figured I'd show that. It's like 15 seconds of it. Oh, here it is. So they actually have a professional team doing it.
I believe that our days will soon bear fruit.
They're gonna like demonetize me. You use copyright music. How dare you? So that's actually what I'm gonna be playing right after this. Actually, I'm going to eat first. Then I'm going to be playing Nikkei. That'll be that, though. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the first playthrough of... Wait, there's weird stuff happening in my Discord. I got to get to the Discord. Anyways, thank you guys so much for being such a real audience. As usual, though, it is time for the Sheriff and I to dip. So deuces, everyone, and remember that you don't have to be good to get good. And thank you once again for enjoying the first playthrough.